absolutely adore my stepchildren, but now my husband is ruining everything.
Get rid of your husband.
Get rid of your husband. Ruin the life.
Take his children.
Yeah. Would I be the a-hole if I asked my stepkids to move out? My husband, 40 male, and I, 34 female, have been married for 4 years. I came into my stepdaughter, 16 female's life when she was about 10 years old. Both her and my stepson, now 12 male, were somewhat neglected and had behavioral issues when I met them. My husband and his ex aren't bad parents, but he travels a lot for work, and she is a bit flighty and self-indulgent. My stepdaughter and I hit it off real well, and I love both of my stepkids. By the way, this comes from Thrabluda on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So we all co-parented well, with me taking on a more active role in their school and other stuff. Both husband and his ex-wife were satisfied with me doing the grunt work for the kids.
I love it. Opie's like, yeah, we all co-parented well, with me being the parent and them not.
They're not bad parents. They just don't parent.
That's it. It's
right?
very simple. I
Yeah.
am parent and they stand there.
It's so good. OP, maybe not.
Maybe reevaluate.
They both travel a lot, and I became the sole parent who was fully engaged.
I don't think you I don't think you co-parent well. I'm gonna be so honest.
True. I own a 3-bedroom house that I had inherited from my parents and husband, and kids moved in to live with me. So not only are you the full-time parent, you are
housing them.
The housing, you're everything.
Oh my gosh.
The kids love their rooms in our home and their lives in our town. The custody arrangement they have on paper is 50-50, but their mom doesn't have as much space, surprise, surprise, as I do. So the kids are here almost full time.
It sounds like neither of these parents wanted their kids, and so they found a willing parent and then conned her into parenting their kids.
Conspiracy theory, just to literally regurgitate your great theory that you just said. Did they conspire?
I can be a chef.
Be a chef. Here, be a chef, Sophia. Let's cook up some theories.
Let's cook up a theory.
Ha! Yeah, did they literally get together and say, you know what, why don't you go find a partner? I'm not gonna be mad, it's all cool, because we're gonna give them all the work, but I'll one-up you so we can go off and get down and dirty.
Busy.
With the spicy sleep.
Busy.
They divorced so they could get busy.
That's kind of like the Doofenshmirtz and his wife. Well, actually, only in the alternate universe. They got divorced for I don't know.
We got to stick to the canon, Sophia. We can't go to multiple universes, but we'll get back to our universe and reality and see if our crazy conspiracy theory is true. So, a few months ago, I came back from an overnight school field trip with my stepson to a very distraught stepdaughter. She found her parents...
You were right! We were right!
Okay, I gotta read it. Well, forehead alert. Also, Sophia, could you angle that one? Yeah, just a little. Oh, dude, that. Yeah. Say. Anyways, so Sophia ran ahead, but ladies and gentlemen, it's okay. She found her parents together in my bedroom and was upset about the cheating.
Unbelievable.
They weren't sewing. They weren't making mac and cheese. But I don't even have to say it.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounded like. Riley said it for me. I can't believe. I was joking. I was truly joking.
Well, I was joking.
Why didn't they stay married and hire a
nanny?
If you hire a nanny, you don't get a free house. Of course, Sophia.
Yeah, and also you have to pay a nanny for childcare.
Dude,
you get free
labor
childcare and free house. Why aren't people doing this? New
people,
hack.
People are going to start doing this. Is too bad. Oh my, no. I was devastated to hear this from her. And after some sleuthing, I found out that their affair had been going on for months and possibly a whole year.
Oh my goodness.
I've been trying to get pregnant for the past 2 years, and we were having very frequent spicy sleep, and realizing that my husband was sleeping with us back to back was especially nauseating for me.
That's, messed up.
So I filed for divorce.
Woo! Opie's quick with it.
And I've asked him to leave. He doesn't want this marriage to end and seems somehow convinced that I'll change my mind. But he agreed to a separation and has moved out to an apartment. Now, my stepdaughter was mad at both her parents and wants to continue living with me.
That's complicated.
It's complicated.
Ooh.
Do you think OP, real quick, should
Well, legally, can she? She's not, I don't think she's adopted either of these kids, so I don't know if she can legally house them.
If if you guys got to, sleep around and cheat together, I just get to take the kid.
Those are the rules.
Deal?
Yeah, you don't even want those kids.
And then the divorce is easy.
Yeah.
That's leverage.
Yeah. I think that's what you do.
I guess she already has the house and all the money, so what could even, but.
Take everything. Take their kids.
Take them. I like it. Neither of them are taking any steps to move out the kids who are still living in their rooms and living their lives as if this family hasn't imploded. I'd have been happy with having the kids with me, but my problem is that both my husband and my kids' mom feel at liberty to come into my house whenever they feel like it because their kids are here. She feels no guilt about the cheating and acts as if I am the interloper. She treats me like I am their nanny, expecting me to continue taking care of things for the kids and leaving me with instructions and criticisms. Oh, sweetheart.
OP, you do not have a responsibility to these kids.
Can we sue the parents? Can we put them in? Can we do what can we do? Can we build the jail to put them in, please? Can we figure this out? Oh my God.
Something.
Meanwhile, my ex frequently drops by under the guise of seeing the kids, but keeps trying to cajole me into letting him move back in. Now, I love my stepdaughter and I don't want to do anything to hurt her further, but I can't take living like this. The amount of hurt and anger I feel towards my husband and his ex-wife is too much, and it's painful to have to keep dealing with them. The absolute cheek of them to treat me like this is making my head explode. Even, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Say the joke in your mind. Say the joke in your minds. But I don't know what to do about the kids. Everyone in my life is expecting me to just it up and do what's best for the kids. I love them, but this is becoming unbearable. We have some comments, but I have to really quickly check in with the woman who is more certified than any therapist or psychiatrist on planet Earth or the space-time continuum, and that is Sophia freaking Donner.
That's me. John, have I got some thoughts?
Oh, do tell.
One or two.
Do tell.
One, I think while OP loves these children, clearly, they, at the end of the day, are not her responsibility. Like, they aren't her children legally or biologically in any way. And I think that she kind of needs to do what's best for herself. Like, obviously, it would for the kids, but I think maybe if it gets to a certain point where she just like cannot handle the parents trying to insert themselves in her life, maybe it's talking to the kids and saying, hey, like, I'll always be there for you.
Yeah. If
you want to ever come over and see me, you're always welcome, but you can't live here.
Yeah. But what if she wants the kids? What if she's like...
Yeah, and then it's the other option of does she want the kids? And then I don't know if she has any legal, like, I don't know how you would legally adopt the kids.
I guess,
you couldn't really do that because both the parents aren't, I don't think they're willing to give up their parental rights.
Well,
and
what
so
about...
she would kind of have to deal with them coming in to her house.
I feel like she could maybe suggest... I have to imagine you could get some sort of agreement, I don't know, certified by a court or something like that, where it's like, hey, you travel all the time and you clearly want to be together. I don't know why they got divorced, but you clearly want to like be at least like hooking up or whatever. Could we find an agreement where like I basically have the kids and you get out of my life, except on times that maybe you want to take the kids out, you come for a weekend, I bring you the kids, or like I don't really have to like see or interact with you, and it's like very strict boundaries.
Well, yeah, maybe the solution is you say to them, either your kids move out and you take them, or if you want me to take care of them, can't come into the house.
Yes.
And we have some sort of custody agreement, but you can't come into my house.
Yes, I think it's that. Because I do think OP might actually want to like be their full-time guardian.
Yeah, it seems like she's grown really attached to the kids. But yeah, I do think at the end of the day, if it gets to a point where it's either, the kids leave or you still have the ex like inserting himself, then I think the kids would have to leave.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
But we could both be wrong.
Oh.
Let's see what the comments have to say about it. Oh, Crumbcake says, not the a-hole. If the kids live with you, then you should be getting child support from both parents.
True.
That too. And they're freaking jet setting all around the world. They should be sending you tons of money. It's sad that you will lose contact with two kids you've grown to love, but your own mental health comes first, and you shouldn't have to deal with your cheating ex and his affair partner. Deleted says, this is so tricky. Not the a-hole. Meet with a lawyer to figure out your options with the kids, but it's probably not going to be great since you want to go no contact with the parents. To that point, meet with a lawyer first. See what that is. Explain your feelings in the situation to your stepdaughter, and she can always visit, but that her parents are no longer welcome in your home.
Which is what I said.
True. She seems most worried that you won't be in her life. Rihanna Mercada says, as much as you love and care for your stepkids, you say that you, quote unquote, can't take living like this. Good point. And that is perfectly normal and acceptable. This situation is not your problem anymore. Your husband cheated on you. You're divorcing. They are his children. They go with him. The kids are old enough to decide if they want to continue to have contact with you, but you are not their biological parent, and it is up to the parents to house and provide for those children. Everybody moves out of your house when the dust settles, and when the dust settles, have a discussion with the biological parents about letting the kids visit you from time to time. Be the fun parent. That's basically the option you gave, but I kind of like that framing where it's like after everything is done, kind of do option number 1, and then option number 2 is like, hey, I just want to be fun parent and just get all the good stuff, And the overall judgment was not the a-hole, so I have to ask, Sophia, is OP the a-hole?
I don't think OP's done anything remotely a-hole-ish at all.
Oh,
this is an angel.
The only thing she did wrong was love too hard.
The only mistake that she made was not seeing the obvious red flag in a man who neglects his children.
That is true. And that's not an a-hole move, but it is a red flag,
it's just
though.
Red flag. No, if I were getting into a relationship with a person who had kids and I was like, oh, they don't care about their kids, I'd be like, that's concerning.
That's you.
That's you.
Red flag, sir. But we have an update 16 days later.
Man, oh man.
We could be divorced by now.
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the freaking
They could be divorced and finalize their divorce in 16 days.
Crazier things that happen on the show.
They could have a really good lawyer.
And it could have been just like, I take the kids.
How fast can a divorce processing be?
Tell us, chat. Tell us comments.
What's the record?
What's the record? And what's the fastest divorce you've seen? Maybe like secondhand or you. I'm curious. Please comment below. But we're going to get into update 16 days later. I tried submitting an update to Am I the A-hole, and that didn't go through. I am posting the update here because I'd like some support and suggestions, and you have been so helpful in the last post. I read all the comments, but things blew up in my face soon after, and I was offline for a while. Following the advice given, I talked with different lawyers to see what I could do for the situation. What I found out wasn't very promising, and the lawyer retainer fee for a custody fight is too high, which makes a lot of sense. With the separation, my money situation is pretty tight and I couldn't afford to chase these issues legally. I've been stressed and working late these days. The day after I made the post, I was going to be late at home and had asked stepdaughter to reheat the frozen lasagna that I had made for dinner. When I arrived home, it was to both the kids having a meal with the ex and mom. They're having a family dinner at OP's house eating OP's lasagna. Sophia, if certain unnamed unsavory individuals came to your house, heated up your lasagna with Sam, how angry are you?
Okay. Soup. We're doing soup in this case. You love soup.
Okay, wait. Who is the unsavory individual? Just any unsavory individual?
Think of an unsavory individual.
I've got one.
Go.
That one. Okay.
How do you feel? Yes, that one.
They're with my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why are you with Sam? I asked Sam, like, why did you invite them over?
What about unsavory individual?
Well, I'm like, why is he even here?
Yeah.
And then they're eating my soup.
They're eating your soup.
I'm throwing hands.
Ooh.
No, I'm not. But I would go in my room. I'd say, okay.
That'd be sad. That is so accurate, though. I love the honesty.
I would be like, oh, hey, guys. And they'd be like, oh, do you want soup? I'd be like, no.
Yeah, you'd be like,
it's fine. You guys can eat my soup. It's fine.
Oh,
yeah,
that just made me sad just envisioning it. You're so good at like portraying, and you became the character, and I'm like, wow, I'm living in this world with a sad, soupless Sophia. Anyways, let's get back to this sad world. Yeah. So when I arrived home, it was both the kids having a meal with the ex and their mom. Mom had decided to turn it into a family dinner and set out the food I made on my formal dining table with my nice dishes.
No.
She had created a pretty family moment with her and ex under my roof.
They're trying to steal your house.
They're
squatting in your house.
Oh! I completely lost it at that point. I regret to say that I behaved abominably, screaming at her and my ex, and I told them to get the heck out of my house. This happened in front of stepson, who was pretty shocked. So far, I had kept him out of most of this mess. After my breakdown, I needed some time away, so I drove out to spend the weekend with my cousin. Stepdaughter wanted to come with me, and we left stepson with his dad. Stepdaughter was so sweet to me and very understanding of why I was upset. She hadn't invited her parents. Her mom had shown up, and then she invited ex for dinner. Stepdaughter hadn't anticipated that I'd get this upset. Frankly, I'm surprised too that I blew up like that. That's not the typical me. Well, OP, that would drive anyone
To the brink.
freaking bonkers.
Yeah.
After we got back, I let mom know that she shouldn't come over anymore, and if she did, then I will report her for trespassing.
Yes.
As Sassy Sin says, call the cops.
Buttercups.
Let them deal with it. Mom didn't believe me and showed up to talk. And I lost it at her again. And this time I did call the cops. Let's freaking go. They nicely asked her to leave, and she did. Stepson was very upset at me for doing this. Mom showed up again the next day.
Girl, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Like, you can't cheat and be dumb too, you know?
Oh, my mind is blown, Riley.
I'm frankly bamboozled.
My flabbers are completely gasted. So she showed up the next day acting all sweet and telling me that I'm being unreasonable. And I bet she's doing it like, so look, you're just being unreasonable, you know?
Like I brought you a lasagna.
I brought you a lasagna. Oh, wait, it was your lasagna, but I heated it up and I set it up all nice for us to eat it.
I put your lasagna into a smaller container so it looks like I made it.
I packaged it up.
And packaged it up real nice.
No, you cretin. Go back from the slithery cold depths from which you slithered out of.
Bottom of the ocean.
The bottom of the ocean. The Marianas Trench is not deep enough. So, unfortunately, I became pretty unhinged at this and swore and yelled at her. Stepson shoved me and screamed at me to shut up. I fell on my butt and was shocked into silence. Mom was pretty surprised too and left immediately, whereas stepson ran and locked himself into his room. He called his dad to come and get him, but he was out of town and mom ignored his calls.
This is so sad.
Dude, and like,
it's so sad because I understand why, like, the stepson is seeing not his mom, but an adult he cares about scream at his mom, and it probably is feeling defensive and wants to leave because he wants to be with his parents, and he can't. His parents aren't there for him.
He's just figuring out about this. I forget his age, but he's probably young. And
10 or 12, I think.
Yeah, and stepdaughter was the one who saw it, so
Yeah.
she's, you know.
And he's just kind of learning about all this.
He's
stuff.
just learning. He's
Yeah.
probably still processing. I
Yeah.
mean, my God. Stepson is a very loving kid, so his reaction was heartbreaking. I understand where he's coming from, though. Mom is his mother, after all. Mom is also a very pretty person who comes across as very sweet and delicate. She's a type of woman people jump to help. It is natural that stepson would feel protective of her, and I hadn't expected that he'd turn on me, though. The rest of the week was bad, with stepson angry at me and refusing to talk. When his dad got back in town, he came and got him. Stepson told him he didn't want to live with me anymore. A few days later, ex wanted me to take back stepson. God, she's still trying to schlep it. But the kid didn't want to come back. I told ex I will not force him, and ex got pretty mad at me.
This is terrible.
I can't. He wanted me to fix the situation somehow. When I refused to make stepson stay with me, ex became pretty mean. He said a lot of ugly things, the worst being that he's relieved that I didn't get pregnant because I would make an awful mother.
My guy, she's already parenting your kids.
She is a million times the parent you will ever be.
Pot meat kettle? You're not even there. You're not even in their lives.
That's right. Ain't no kettles, no pots.
No pot.
Nothing. You're just freaking in unexisting molecules. That's what you are, sir. Thanks, Riley. Oh, MJ Grow says, call CPS. Poll. Do we call CPS? Call CPS or not? What do you think, Sophia?
I wonder. I mean, like, I just don't know what the legality of that is.
Also, does that potentially, do they even get in the system for like a few days or something? I'd be maybe worried about that. I don't know.
Because best case scenario, you call CPS, they're in the system, and then you're like, hey, I have looked over them for a long time. Can I take care of them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, then they're in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just need to like start texting, getting all of this in writing, and get documents, get receipts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, don't do calls anymore. Just say, if you want to talk to me, text me, and then so you have all of this proof.
That's smart. That'll help you do anything that you need to do. But OP says, I was afraid of things turning out this way, but I've got ex and mom out of my house, and that is a relief. Stepdaughter is going to live with me until she moves out to college. Okay, she's like way older.
Yeah.
Ex is
She's 16.
Yes, true. Ex is struggling to find childcare for stepson and is angry at me that I think he'll not slow down the divorce anymore. I want to fix this with stepson, but a big selfish part of me is afraid to do anything that'll bring his parents back into my life. That's not a selfish part of you. That is protecting
a very reasonable part of you.
Yes, so reasonable. OP is giving big people pleaser vibes.
Yeah.
In some areas. I really don't understand mother's actions and motivations in all this. She wanted to sleep with X, and I had walked out of the picture, and it was all hers. If she wanted her kids, it wasn't like there was anything I could do about that. If she didn't want her kids, I was already taking care of them, but she kept violating my boundaries with a smile on her face and be all surprised that I'm not happy about this. Right now, neither her nor X want to be the daily parent to stepson, but he's angry at me enough that he doesn't want to choose me as the parent. I feel so crushed about that. And we have some relevant comments on that. So from Burning Duchess, I am so sorry that you're going through all of this. I do think it's for the best that stepson isn't staying with you anymore. And I think it'd be healthy for you to take a step back from them as a family during the divorce proceedings.
I think so.
I concur with that.
Yeah.
You've parented their children more than they have, but unfortunately at the end of the day, they are still theirs. So with stepson being younger, it's best that you give them some room. I second the question of how old stepdaughter is. Also, you should both think about how her staying with you will affect her college options. Are her parents paying for it? Will they withdraw their support if they maintain your side over theirs? As much as you love her, you should also ensure that these children don't become your responsibility or that their parents could claim that you are alienating her from them during the process. Change the locks at your place for sure, though. And if stepdaughter is to be staying with you, please make sure she understands that they are not welcome. I'd recommend if she wants to see them, it should be at a neutral place if she's not up to going to theirs. But if she's too young for that, then maybe she should be going to her father's, even if it's not what she would prefer. You have to put yourself as a priority right now and stop letting them control and manipulate the situation. Everyone is going to get a little hurt and it will, but you will get through this. Quick gut check. Comments, chat, and Sophia, do you think that is a reasonable take?
I think that's a very reasonable take. I think it's saying like, yeah, you might want to keep them in your lives, but at the end of the day, it might not be what's best for them or you.
Yeah, it's almost like, what do you want versus what do you need? You might want to, stay in the stepdaughter's life and, you love living together, but at the end of the day, it might so massively overcomplicate it that it's actually just worse for all parties involved.
Yeah.
Phantom's Manor says, I think the best thing you can do is to let stepdaughter talk to stepson, get some time for yourself, and maybe put the kids in counseling. Being how young he is, he might not realize how messed up the situation is. On top of his parents' divorce, he and his sister were neglected by both of them and is now going through another divorce. That's true. And the fact that they had the audacity to have a family dinner and using your possessions kind of feels like they're up to both stepdaughter and stepson into the life that they had before, only they don't want to do the work. They want to use you as their babysitter. If it weren't for this, I would have thought they're trying to ruin his perception of you because in his point of view, you initiated the divorce because his parents want to get back together. You yelled at them and generally being a bad person to his mom in his eyes, to the stepson's eyes. Just to be clear, you aren't a bad person at all and you have the right to be mad at both of them, certainly better than the both of them. And OP responds to that. I keep thinking about the dinner and I am so weirded out. Nobody is poor here. Doing a family dinner isn't a hardship for anyone. Yeah, cooking one dish of lasagna is not going to break the bank for these people. Doing this in your own home or go to a restaurant, do anything, but why do it in your home? That just blows my mind.
Yeah, no, it's because they're trying to insert themselves into everything that you have.
I also think mom gets a kind of sick, twisted pleasure out of torturing
so.
OP.
Yeah.
Like low key, the came in all sweet and smiling. It's giving like, oh, she has this facade of being like, oh, I'm so sweet and but she's really evil. What were you guys thinking? Stepdaughter is being great with me, but she's emotionally shut herself off from her family. She only calls her dad for money and she doesn't talk to her mom at all, which isn't healthy either, but I don't know what to do about that now. She's ambitious and working hard for school and I am proud of her for that. My parents passed away a decade ago, but my aunt is nearby. An ex complained to her about me. God, I got lectured by her about how I should do better by my stepkids. Don't side with them.
The thing is that at the end of the day, they aren't your stepkids anymore.
They're not.
They're not your stepkids anymore.
Jeez, dude.
And anyone who's saying that you're not, stepping up enough for your stepkids is wrong.
Call the cops on Auntie. Lock her
Lock
up,
her
throw away the
up.
keys. I hate that he's bad-mouthing me to the few people I have left in my life. And we have an update 17 days later. So we're now...
One day after. Was it 17 days after the first 16 days?
I think it
or
was-
just
yeah,
one
yeah.
day?
It's so basically a month since the original post.
Okay.
A month out. We could now officially be divorced. I'm still holding to
Yeah.
that. Comments, you can flame me if you want. Go ahead. But I don't know. We'll see. Nothing of consequence has happened on the legal front since my last post. So I'm wrong. Okay, go ahead. Flame me. Go ahead. Have fun.
Cast him into the fire.
Emotionally, it has been lots of ups and downs. A lot of people message me suggesting that I should let stepdaughter go, and it's not healthy to have her staying with me. That may be so on paper, but it's not something I want to do. I met X a few years after my parents passed away. I was very close to them, and they passed away one after the other. I suffered a lot from depression from grieving. My boyfriend at the time dumped me, and I had lost a lot of friends. Who are these people? When we started dating, I was coming out of my sadness, but was still very lonely. Stepdaughter and I became each other's supports very quickly. She felt neglected by her parents and had resentment towards them, and I suppose she loved the attention I gave her. I found her to be a loving kid, and I liked bonding with her. Stepson and I were close too. While he loved his mom, I did kind of assume that he was closer to me. One of the resentments that stepdaughter held against her parents was that they were uninterested and dismissive of her extracurriculars that led to her failing in some activities that she was very passionate about. She's into a sport I was familiar with, and I spent a lot of time training with her. The old niche sport. Niche sport.
Insert niche sport.
Insert sport here. I
I'm
used to
familiar.
I used to do it all the time. I was varsity and
toe wrestling.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but I, my knee.
Couldn't do it with the
you
knee
know,
injury.
I couldn't go. I would have gone
You
pro.
almost went to state.
That would have been pro. Oh, God. So I spent a lot of time training with her and took her to events and classes for it. She is very good at it now, and it's going to be a source of scholarships for her and
Ooh.
possibly going to get her into college that she is interested
Little
in.
D1 school.
Ooh, is it insert niche school?
Insert niche school. Yeah. For D1 athletics.
It's the insert Ivy institution of insert location.
Insert sport.
She's hardworking and ambitious, and I want to support her as much as I can. She has promised to keep her parents out of our home, and I hope she sticks with that till she leaves for college. X has been very angry and ranting at me in messages. I have stopped answering his calls, and I do not reply to emails. I've told him the only subject I will discuss with him is divorce, and only through my lawyer. So he's been bad-mouthing me to a lot of mutual acquaintances. Can we use this in a divorce somehow, please?
I mean, you're getting all those texts now and emails.
Something.
You got to be able to. I mean, like you have cheating. You've got all the emailing. You're taking care of his kids. That's got to help in the divorce.
Please let it help in the divorce. A couple of people have gently chided me for abandoning stepson.
Why are people chiding you?
Divorce everyone in your life.
This is ridiculous. That's not, at the end of the day, that's not your son. You have no responsibility to him. Yes, you're being a freaking angel by wanting to take responsibility, but you
Yes.
have no responsibility for him.
These people, I wonder if they know, I wonder if OP's just hidden the fact that he cheated, because
Yeah.
OP has not said that. That is my
Possibly.
current suspicion. One went so far as to say that women who become stepmoms should know what they are signing up for, and a real mother wouldn't leave her children.
Are you talking to the freaking devil?
Why don't you tell that to their literal real mom?
Yeah.
Their bio mom who's freaking flying all over the world.
I don't understand.
Not parenting them, okay? I am not good with conflict and haven't been able to respond properly. I've pretty much isolated myself from these people, so I don't have to listen to comments like these. Mom is still blocked by me, and she hasn't made any efforts to communicate with me, and that's been a huge relief. A week after the last post, sister-in-law came down to see me. She lives about 3 hours away, so I was pretty apprehensive that she was going to drive down all the way over here to talk to me. If it's anything like anyone else in her life, I do not have good hopes for this conversation.
Yeah. If it's going the way that the whole post has been going, it's going downhill.
The whole town is just like, why don't you care for your children?
It's like, I
Next thing you know, the whole town is just eating her lasagna.
Yeah.
Like,
they're all in her house and they're like, wow, OP, not caring for your children, eating her lasagna.
not cool. So I asked to meet her in a restaurant, to which she agreed. I was also worried about talking to her because while she's been polite and nice with me, she still was and is mom's friend and X's brother. She told me that X had urged her to talk to me about stepson, and she completely disagrees with him about that, okay? She said that I've been a great stepmom to stepson, but he's not my responsibility.
There we go. Wait,
There we
who's
go.
this?
The sister-in-law.
Oh,
Right?
Goodness, at least we
Who'da thunk it?
finally have a person who's on your side.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Even your own freaking friends didn't say this.
Yeah, your mom didn't say this.
Come on, your mom. X was honest with her about his affair, and she supports me getting divorced. Again, thank God. She said a lot of supportive things to me about moving on and looking after myself, and also thanked me for taking care of stepdaughter still. That was nice, but then she went on to add that she wasn't surprised about the affair at all. You see, she was surprised that X married me.
Ooh.
She was like, you should have seen this coming. Though she didn't come out and say it, the insinuation was that mom is so much better than me. She's prettier, more successful, more charming. And X would jump at the chance to be with her.
I'm sorry. I thought she was on your side. She's another op?
Hope he can't catch a break.
Unbelievable.
Truly not.
Also, have you guys ever seen a couple get together and you look at one partner and you're like, yeah, they're definitely going to cheat on them?
No, I've never thought that.
I haven't, thank God.
Okay.
Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, wow, you know?
Oh yeah, just like
I don't go, oh, they're gonna cheat, but I'm like, oh.
and now
This one chick from high school got engaged, and she got engaged to a guy that like was not on her level, and I'm like, that's gonna be a tough one, buddy.
is that great value, Riley?
No, not that one.
Okay,
She's not like that. This one's the one from middle school. Yeah.
I think I know,
Okay.
but you'll
That
never
one's
know.
crazy. That one's like so crazy. I would love to tell that story.
Ooh, maybe you could slip it in anonymously and
Yeah.
Okay, I can do
Yeah.
that. Oh, dude, I'll do it right now. Well, I'll like slip it in, like I'll like type it up in a Reddit post and then submit it, and then.
I thought you were talking about the lies that you've been.
Oh no, I won't prank you today, John.
Well,
This would be so much harder to prank you on the phone. I can't control the phone.
Oh,
So you're
right,
safe.
Right,
You're safe.
Right. Okay, story time after this episode. We'll catch Sophia up to speed on what happened. So stick around to the end. So the sister-in-law was saying like, I'm surprised that he married you. Mom is so much better, right?
You're freaking ugly.
Mhm. You're freaking ugly.
She's like, no, I'm on your side. I think you should divorce. You're just not on his level.
I'm here for you because you're so ugly and I feel for you, okay?
I feel really bad for you.
That was just great to hear. Peachy. Though it's easy for me to accept now that I am not the smart one here because I didn't see it coming at all. I was happy and in love with my family. The upside to that meeting is that X has stopped harassing me. I haven't heard anything from him since, and I think that he has stopped talking about me to others too. I don't have anything on stepson yet, though stepdaughter told me he's all right and waiting for summer vacation to start. A few of you have said that mom might have been interested in taking my house. I don't think so. She does all right by herself and has a good career. She has a rather spendy lifestyle and lives in a very fancy 2-bedroom apartment in the city, while my house is in a child-friendly but stad suburb. I guess quiet. I hope things continue to be quiet because I need to get my head straight, focus on work, or I might get fired. God, hope he doesn't need more. The boss is
another
like,
thing.
I heard that you're abandoning your children. Fired.
You can't work here anymore.
We only take good mothers at this company. And my job is the one thing I have going for me right now. And we do have some comments. So No Tangerine 3320 says, OP, don't let sister-in-law's insinuations get to you. Your ex and mother got back together because crappy people will always gravitate towards others like them. Still doesn't mean they'll be happy. They'll run themselves around the same cycle they did previously, which is get together, think they're in love, break up, get back together, all while their relationship is devoid of any true love or compassion for one another. I'm honestly happy to hear that you really love and care for stepdaughter. In this situation, you seem to be the only source of love and good parenting that this child needs. Stepson might come around eventually, but don't force anything. He'll come to you when he's ready. I hope you can move on from this and find happiness. Don't let anyone step on you or take advantage of you. You deserve people in your life who can reciprocate the same amount of love you give. And OP responds, thank you. I keep teetering between anger and fear about my situation. When things go quiet, mostly anger now. But time with stepdaughter is good. She and stepson were the best things about my marriage. So we have an update 12 days later. And I know, guys, I've said over and over again, hey, maybe the divorce is coming. Maybe the divorce is coming. I did read a little. There is at least some court action. That's the one teaser I'm going to give you.
Finally getting some court action.
some
I've been
gabble,
waiting.
Yep, I love court action, especially when someone goes like coast to coast or gets a triple-double during the game. Favorite time to watch basketball.
Riley's giving a little basketball joke for you.
It's going to be a full court press.
Yo, I'm proud of you on that one, John. That was great. That was amazing.
Got him. That's only because my former boss used that one time. He's like, yeah, we need for this marketing thing, we need a full court press. And I was like, we need press? I thought we were doing like social media. He's like, no, we need a full court press. And I was like, what is this about press?
Quick TLDR about a full court press.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, when people play basketball on defense, they guard everyone. There's like a half court mark. They guard everyone behind the half court mark. But whenever the game is like about to end and it's getting really intense and there's a few seconds less and like a steal could make you win if you're losing, they'll do a full court press. So they'll guard everyone above the half court line. So it's like whoa.
And I knew that.
Does that make sense?
That's exactly
Wait, for real?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, it's also just
My
in the name.
TLDRs are on fire.
Coach
Full
Riley.
court, all of the court presses forward. I'm assuming. Yeah.
Let's go. Yes. Yes.
It in the name, but you did great.
But before we get into also, I think, the last update of this
man.
episode.
Oh man.
This is a long story, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Sophie, I have something I want you and chat to ponder on for
I'm
a
gonna
second.
ponder.
I'm gonna flip the script on you.
I'm getting
Okay.
into my pondering mode.
OP is in not a great place, was quite frankly not in a great place like coming into the relationship. So OP's had a rough go of it, right? Stepdaughter seems to be her like core source of support and joy and everything else. Could it be that despite the potential complications, and also maybe even OB might be able to skate out with less complications than it seems on the surface, is it maybe actually better for OP's mental health to not like get rid of the person who gives her the love and support that she needs? I'm leaning closer to that. I'm going to be honest with you.
I was pondering so hard.
Your ponder face and fingers were really doing a jig.
Okay. So are you asking to sum up?
Should she keep the stepdaughter?
Okay, that's what I thought. Well, in the time that I took to ponder,
Yeah.
it seems like they've worked out a way for it to not affect OP so much.
Yeah.
But should the divorce proceedings become really messy, then I think maybe no.
So until it really
Yes.
complicates it.
Yes,
Like
I
right
think
now
it's fine.
there isn't any concrete
No.
complications. The parents are out of the way.
Yeah.
I like that idea because honestly, putting myself in OP's shoes, I feel like I would want that support, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean,
Like,
everyone
I want
else
my
in her
daughter
life
there.
sucks,
Yeah.
seemingly. So
Yeah.
her, at least this, like the daughter kind of understands what's going on and who her parents are. And she's the one who caught her parents. So she clearly doesn't have any affection for them right now.
She gets it. She freaking gets it. But let's get into the update 12 days later. We had a court date and the judge ordered mediation and put this off for a few more months.
Oh.
I was
That sucks.
so my prediction is wrong yet again. 3
Dang.
for 3. I was hoping this would be a wrap up. After all, we don't have kids together and I want nothing from the ex. I didn't bring up custody for stepdaughter and stepson and he didn't either. Okay. All I want is a divorce and to walk away with what I brought in, my house and my car. This seems like it should be the simplest divorce in OK Storytime history.
Yeah.
X isn't fighting for those, but he's still saying that he doesn't want a divorce. What the heck, man? He left me 2 messages asking to talk. I've ignored him. The mediation will be over Zoom, which to me sounds more comfortable than an in-person meeting. Stepdaughter and I are doing well living together. Mom is silent and nothing from stepson so far. Then there's an update.
Ooh-wee. This is really annoying. It's also like, do you have to get your other partner to sign the divorce papers before you can get divorced? Because I feel like
I think it might vary.
Yeah, because in all like those movies and television, the TV shows, they're always like, sign the papers, sign the papers.
Yeah,
You put it
yes.
off for months, just
Yes.
sign the papers.
Yeah.
So like, can you get divorced if one partner doesn't sign the papers?
Curious chat.
Or is it just harder?
Have you heard of any experiences? Maybe producer Riley, you could look up some quips on that, but I'm not sure. Her at Spaghetti, she shouldn't be using the child as emotional support, so that shouldn't be a consideration.
This is true.
John.
This is true.
Are children emotional support? I guess emotional support in the sense of like using it to your emotional support advantage at the detriment potentially of the child in there.
No, children are not emotional support animals.
That's true.
It's actually not what we wanted to look at.
Do both people have to agree to a divorce in the U.S.?
AQ says there is a type without signing, but takes years. Yeah, so Celtic Kit says it's harder if you don't. I made my ex-husband sign, and he did. Went smoothly.
It takes consent of both parties to enter marriage. It only takes the consent of one party to end the marriage.
But I think, yeah, I guess it just must take a lot longer if you don't get both.
Yeah, because it's like
signatures.
with the divorce agreement, they basically say, hey, we're both in on you give this, you get this, you get this. So it's like, all right, boom, boom,
But
boom,
that's
boom,
like
process.
getting served. Like you've been served. That's what that means. Like both parties don't consult to getting a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
You can receive the divorce proceedings, I guess, or like the being taken to court for divorce. That's one way, right?
Yeah. I agree.
Not true as an emotional support animal.
Hey, listen, we're all animals.
At
if
the
you
end
think
of the
about
day.
So we have an update 7 weeks later. I am divorced.
Woo! Finally.
Hey, like 3-4 months? That's still quick.
Yeah.
That's still quick.
You did good time.
I
Good time.
did good. Good time, boy. It's me. Papers are signed. The judge has signed off, and it's done. I am so relieved. I was scared that this would drag on for longer. God forbid it would. And then more lasagna would be taken from your
Oh,
fridge.
yeah. They just show up at your house every day.
God. Where's our lasagna?
Yeah. And he's like, I'm divorcing you.
Eat divorce papers. The first mediation meeting was a crap show with ex trying to talk at me that we should go through marriage counseling. The mediator was a very firm woman who kept the conversation in control, though. We had a couple more mediation emails and he agreed to sign off. I was still nervous about how it'd go today, but ex played nice and signed off on everything. A very nice surprise was that he voluntarily gave me our entire joint savings account.
Okay. Well, as he owes, because you've been freaking paying for his kids for 4 years.
Talk about it. Talk for like that's the back nanny pay.
Yeah.
That's
it's
the back
like,
nanny
no,
pay.
you owe me that child support
Yeah.
money, actually. Thank
Honestly,
you.
I was not expecting that. I had asked for half of it, which would be OP's half, though in reality, he has put in more than I did. Maybe not. I retract my previous statement. I'd have been okay with him just taking my portion, but he surprised me by giving me all the money. It was our emergency savings, so not a rich amount, but a nice high 5-figure number. Okay. I am so relieved about it. I'm going to say
80,000.
I was going to say the same thing.
Well, there you have it.
Twinning. I am so relieved about it. Money had become tight with lawyer fees and changes, and this helps. Emotionally, also, it made me feel better about myself. I may be wrong, but my heart wants to read this as his acknowledging that he screwed me over and I deserve something back. This might not be healthy, but I'm just going to say
Whoa.
choose to interpret it that way
Yeah.
because you deserve some feel good.
Truly. That's he said that he screwed her over? Is that what that just said?
Nope.
Oh.
He's interpreting it as that.
Oh, I was like, wow.
Yeah, right. My
Um,
heart wants to read this as him
Yeah.
acknowledging
Okay.
he
Okay.
screwed me
Okay.
over. But he has
Wow.
not said, "Oh, I screwed you over," and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, I did mishear that. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
No, he's still a piece of crap.
I'm going to say in reality, I don't think so, but in your fairy tale land, stay there because
Stay there.
you just deserve some happiness. And we got some comments from Majestic Post 1684. Woohoo! Time to celebrate your new freedom. Best wishes to your future. Opie says, thank you. I am both relieved and scared of being lonely. The period of my life where I was alone after losing my parents was very depressing, and I don't want to fall back into that. Majestic Post responds, staying busy and building a community of friends around me really helped me after my divorce was finalized. I go on dates with friends, volunteer, and I also joined a cooking group. We get together and share dishes once a month. I'm sorry you lost your parents so young, but at this time around, you have your stepdaughter. You also have us, a group of interested strangers who support you and are rooting for you. And guess what, OP? You got 3 more strangers
3 right here.
in your corner. Let's freaking go. Unless Riley.
No, I'm in your corner.
Yeah.
I'll fight.
He's in.
Riley's doing a 3-court shot.
Close. You can say half court or you can say 3-pointer.
3-court shot. 3-court shot.
He's doing a 3-court shot.
Woo. Opie says.
And that has nothing to do with basketball. I just meant that Riley's taking 3 courts of shots.
True, because we know he loves doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, Like, okay, sorry. That's a lot for a shot.
It is.
Riley, you're on the job. That's entirely unprofessional.
Hey, you know what? I'll allow it.
Yeah, but it was,
Yay!
celebratory. It was for OP getting divorced.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
Because he's on your side.
That's right. Come on. Good tie back.
It's called improv.
OP, thank you. This is my plan too. Get a group of friends around you. I've joined an adult league for the sport, insert sports, that stepdaughter and I play. I've signed up for group cycling. I might even try some volunteering.
What?
I'm very grateful to the support that I found here. Every time I felt overwhelmed or my resolve has weakened, I've pulled up and reread all the messages. Guys, I am a filthy, dirty liar, even more so than Riley, like we'll figure out at the end of the episode. Don't think I forgot about that. Don't think I forgot about that. Because we have an update that is 3 months later.
Oh,
from this point.
And everyone knows that OP's going to be freaking killing it on niche sport. And
It's definitely beach volleyball. Let's be for real.
I thought that too.
Dude.
I'm thinking of like what could have an adult league that like, you know, people play. I'm thinking tennis.
It's not niche,
beach
though.
volleyball. Well, beach volleyball's not that niche.
Yes, it is.
I think it's beach volleyball.
Pickleball.
Or at least
Not
volleyball
pickleball.
at a minimum.
Volleyball at a minimum.
Paddle.
Basketball's not niche. Handball is niche.
could
Volleyball's
be
not niche.
Rowing. Join an adult rowing club.
I mean, you can. There's
I don't know
adult
about
clubs
that.
for
Rowing's
everything.
super hard. Yeah, I was thinking about joining a rowing club at college, and my RA was on the rowing team, and she took me to the gym once, and I've never been in that much pain.
But now you're buff from
And now
climbing
I'm
Mount
buff.
Everest.
Yeah,
You can climb Mount Everest with this finger.
just with one finger.
So take that, freaking
So take that,
rowers.
my RA. She was lovely.
You weak people. So let's get into this update 3 months later. Okay, not really an update, more just like event. I can write things down here that I can't talk about in real life. I am making a big show of being happy and social and carefree to people in real life, but honestly, I am so dang miserable
No,
and sad.
I thought this was like on the up and up.
No.
Oh.
The first couple of months, I soldiered on out of pure spite and determination to remake myself, but it's devolving back into sadness. I've been avoiding hearing anything about ex or mother, but stepdaughter has been having some issues, and she vented to me about how she's mad at her parents. Mom mostly. Ex and mom didn't last long. They were having fights and issues well before my divorce finalized. They got a second divorce on top of the divorce that
It's called
he
the
was
double
already-
divorce, and if you get 3, you get 3 wishes.
Oh, good old double D for the 3 wishes. Mom immediately started dating someone else, and from what I hear, she's happy in this current relationship and is so into it that she hasn't even met either of her kids in the past 2
Oh
months.
my God. Where are these kids?
Only video calls. They're God knows where. X had to juggle a lot of things to adjust his work schedule and get dependable childcare for stepson. He's dating too now, a much younger woman.
Yeah, and she has a lot of like child care experience. She's also CPR certified. She's a really nice house.
Yeah, really nice house that she owns.
Yeah,
And
it's
she
really
makes
very coincidental.
Great lasagna.
Mm-hmm.
If you catch our drift. Ex and mom used to co-parent well, but I guess I was the one really doing that because right now they hate each other and hardly ever talk. Go figure. One would think that would make me happy seeing them fall apart from each other, but it's only making me more angry. My life was ruined. The kid, yeah, it's the classic question. Do you want the cheater and affair partner to like break up? Because then it's like, well, that was like all for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, the kid's happy home was destroyed, and for what? I miss my old life so much, and a lot of it was a lie, but I was just so happy and full of purpose then. I am just feeling so lost right now. I've tried dating and have been on a lot of dates, but they have all been bad or wrong. People around me have been setting me up with divorced dads, and no offense to them, but I can't do that again. I don't blame you. I actually had one date which felt more like an interview for a nanny role.
No, not again.
Run!
You can't keep doing this.
It made me so depressed. Stepdaughter is doing great though, and that brings me a lot of joy. I'm a little bit scared of the time soon when she will move out. It'll make it just me in this big house. I've talked to stepson on the phone a couple of times. That boy has grown up and changed so much. It feels like we were separated for years. He's going to come over for a sleepover during the Halloween weekend, and I'm pretty excited about that. Hooray. Stepdaughter was going to babysit him at X's place while he travels, but I okayed having him with us since it's Halloween. And then we do have
Man.
some relevant comments as well.
Man.
But how do you feel about that?
I'm just thinking, I think OP might, not that she is getting back into the dating scene too soon, but I think that she is expecting things to just kind of be over this 4-year relationship where she was clearly so attached to the point where she thinks of these kids as her own.
Only like maybe 6 months out.
Yeah. So it's like, give it some time.
Give us some time.
Don't worry about it. Don't push yourself. Things will come.
Date yourself.
Date yourself.
Okay? Because you're a hot commodity.
You're a catch.
You're a freaking catch. But we got some other comments too from Corfiz74. Dang, I had hoped things would look up for you after the divorce went through. Your ex and his ex are supremely trash people, and the fact that they are just moving on from you and each other shows you just how utterly shallow they are. Which also proves that you're now mourning the man you thought he was, not the man he actually was. That is a good distinction. I hope after your grieving period is over, you'll meet a really nice, non-shallow guy who is not just looking for a nanny.
Yeah. Or you lean into the nanny. So like right now you're looking for a man that you can date.
Yep.
You should be looking for a man who needs a nanny. Pull a little The Nanny show,
Fran Drescher.
Fran, yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, become Fran. Find a really nice, hot English dad. Become kind of a parental figure to his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly get him to fall in love with you.
I like it because we get paid all the way up until, and then
you get married.
Then you get married, and then you share the assets. So you're up.
And then you're rich.
This is great. This is a great plan.
Also, great show.
Great show.
Love that show.
That is a show I actually have seen.
I love that.
You know,
I would always go over to because we didn't have cable, so I would go over to my friend's house, and I would always put on The Nanny.
That is adorable.
Because it would be playing on some cable channel or whatever.
She was a star.
Yeah, she was.
Fran
great.
was.
She was great.
What an icon. Fran Drescher, if you're hearing this, come on the show.
Come on the show.
We got a spot for you right here.
If you're hearing this, I don't know, marry me. I don't know.
All right. Well, there you go. So, hope he responds. Sorry for the late response. I was in a depressed state and avoiding things for a while. I am much better now. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, I think I never really knew my ex. The side he showed me was pretty sweet though, and I do miss that. My relationship with stepdaughter is the brightest point in my life. We have brought a lot of happiness for each other. By the way, if you want an endless supply of happiness for your freaking face holes, aka your ears, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts, go wherever you listen to podcasts, type in OK Storytime. We literally have, I thought it was 1900 episodes, but I just learned today we're not labeling some of our live stream podcast episodes with numbers. Therefore, there's probably 2,000, 2,100 episodes for you guys in there. Crazy, right? So go do that.
How do we do it?
How do we do it? I already told him.
How do we do it?
I was thinking about that. I was like, each person probably has at least 5 Reddit stories in them, and then you just do the numbers.
I didn't even know that there was this many stories on planet Earth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I got one right now I'm writing, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty juicy.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, your story?
That I'm writing, yeah. I was like, oh, wow, actually, this was kind of crazy.
That's what you're doing on the laptop.
Yeah.
I was like, what is he working on over there? Oh my God, I love that.
Away.
But we have the true actual last final update, which is 2 years later, which I'm about to dive into to close us out.
2 years later?
2 years later, my friend. So this could be short but very sweet. But Sophia, just check in with me.
I'm checking in.
How are we feeling at this almost end of the episode here?
Well, I think that OP feels kind of at the lowest point right now. And yet she is progressing and she is improving, even if she can't see that.
That and that should be celebrated, and she should celebrate herself for that. That, you know what? We saw what a people pleaser she was, but once she saw the stuff, she stood up for herself, got the divorce. Mm-hmm. She put her foot down and got the parents out of her life to stop abusing and running over her boundaries with a bulldozer.
She got the bag from the bank.
She got the bag.
Yeah.
She got the bag. I think OP has really, really grown a lot, and her newfound confidence and boundary setting is really going to help her.
Yeah. I think it's hard to see the positives when you are sad, but just knowing that they're there, they exist.
Guys, give it up for Sophia freaking Donner.
Stop.
I told you, better than any psychiatrist, more certified than anyone you could freaking think of.
And free.
And free. Okay? TikTok dance. I'm
Ooh,
cool.
is
I'm
that-
Gen Z. We're not going to discuss it any further. Update. 2 years later, we're
Woo!
getting into it. I don't know if anybody will see this update. We are. After all of this time, but I had left this as a sad note a couple of years ago, and that doesn't feel right. I had stepped away from Reddit because I was getting quite a bit of negative messages. Some people making fun of me and calling me names. Most of you have been so amazing and helpful, but a few mean messages still got to me. My life has been good since then. I had stopped dating and gave up online apps.
Nice.
I like this. I did well with making a few friends and staying busy with having an active life, a good career, hobbies. Eventually, I met my current partner on a hiking
Yes.
trip.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Sometimes when you stop actively dating, it's better. They just like kind of like come, and you're like, oh, they come over, they
They what?
They what? They do what?
Time
come into your
out.
life. They come into your life.
Is that her name? Anyways, clip it. Oh, actually,
What?
Riley, if you could get this from Leanne, I believe we do now have a form for you guys to submit clips to the show. Riley's gonna add it. Poster, if you could add it in the episode on YouTube as well. But we guys want you to tell us clips, moments, like literally what just happened. We should have a funny edit for that and be hilarious. So anyways, back to the story. My daughter has been a constant ray of sunshine. Also, this is the first time she said my daughter instead
That's
of
so
stepdaughter.
cute.
All right.
I love that.
My daughter has been a constant ray of sunshine in my life, and we are very close. She introduces me to people as her adopted mom, lol, and I don't refer to her as Step. She is doing great at college. She's growing into an awesome person, and my home is her home when she visits from school.
This is lovely.
Right? Things are a bit more complicated with my former stepson. We went from daughter to former stepson. We are two different realms.
Dang.
He has been upfront that he doesn't want me as a parental figure in his life and is not interested in being close with me. I respect that. I will stay in touch with him, but as a distant friend, we exchange jokes, and sometimes the three of us get together for dinner. He is in therapy for depression and anger issues, so I don't want to let go of him completely. Regarding the guy I'm with now, this is by far the best, most romantic relationship of my life, and I am very happy. I am now pregnant.
Ooh!
What?
What was the time jump?
Dude, 2 years?
She knew what she wanted, man.
Damn!
This is 2 years. This is 2 years.
Wow.
They freaking went on a hike and they,
Well, second trimester, like 5-6 months?
yeah, around, yeah.
5-6 months, like 2/3 of the way through.
Dang.
Wow, and we are both excited. Well, I guess like more like 9 months if you're me, but you know.
You started dating like a year ago?
This is crazy.
Ooh.
That's kind of quick, but we'll see. The pregnancy was unexpected,
Okay, yeah.
but I'm thrilled about it. I was trying so hard to get pregnant in my previous marriage and all that. Trying medical interventions didn't help. And now I am pregnant despite protection. Okay.
Oh, dang.
Oh, God.
Yikes.
Cut to Sophia's clip from earlier. Rewind.
Yikes.
The relationship is still new, and I am treading carefully. One of the best parts is that his family is amazing. His parents are very sweet and accepting people who already treat my daughter as their grandchild and are very excited about the baby. What a mess of, here's the unplanned baby and the stepdaughter who isn't
stepdaughter,
adopted, not
daughter.
crazy. But we got some final comments here. Silly Dizzy Dazzle says, I am so happy for you, OP, and I know you had so many rough years. Thankfully, you have your daughter. You have brought her into your life so that way she's always has a parent that chooses her and her best interests first. I know you want this for your son, and he will come around. Please continue to give time while still showing you love, and always will. With his therapist, he can come to the mature decision that his bio parents are selfish and self-absorbed. If his therapist is literally worth anything, he will be able to see this with the therapist.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
It's pretty freaking obvious.
pretty obvious.
You have so much love, kindness, compassion, and empathy. Your little baby is going to be welcomed into a wonderful family with you as the best mom. You've been momming for years and are wonderful at it. Congrats on your new partner who knows how marvelous you are and treats you as an equal partner. This was happy to read as a positive update. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Enjoy all the happiness and making more positive memories shared with your loved ones. Very happy for you all. To which OP responds, I am so happy these days, but also nervous about the pregnancy and a smidge scared. Then I also think that things didn't go how I had planned them, but they worked out all right. I remember being scared of becoming stepmom, but those kids turned out to be the best thing, and they made me mom for life. I worry about my son. He is so cynical and unhappy for someone so young. Whether I'm in his life or not, I want him to find peace and be happy. And that's the conclusion there.
And that's the
That was
conclusion.
amazing.
We thought we were just going to get left in the freaking dumpy, but we got the happy ending. And you know what? All in all, I feel good. I feel good about the
too.
story
Me
and
too.
the moves made and everything.
Yeah.
I think it ended on a good note.
It did.
She was in a tight situation, but like really got herself out of it.
Yeah.
Like in best case scenario.
Yeah, truly. It was complicated, but here we are.
She made
at
it
the
work.
end of the day.
And I kind of
Ain't life complicated, John?
ain't life
Ain't that
complicated.
just life?
And I also kind of doubled down on the decision to keep the stepdaughter around. I really think it worked out for the best for everyone.
And I think that's what OP wanted. I mean, clearly that's what OP wanted.
Yeah. And I feel like you can have emotional support from a child, particularly a adolescent, almost adult child, as long as there's no advantage in taking care of or anything like that. But I'm going to take advantage of this moment to
Ooh,
spill the tea
spill that tea.
with an OK story time from
Oh my gosh.
Riley Wilson. So Sophia, let me paint a picture, right?
Paint that picture.
I'm here. I'm reading a story. It's an 8-hour stream last night. We go
Mhm.
till midnight, right? We're going crazy.
Yeah,
People
I
are
recall.
done. It's just a grand
You guys
old
are
time.
dying.
It's a grand old time. I'm reading a story. Lo and behold, the writer of the story is like, also, I'm from my hometown, and I am actually good friends with John's old band teacher, and John's band teacher told me to submit the story. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm like, oh, what? My band teacher? What's going on here? I'm so excited. I'm like, hey, band teacher, like, reconnect with me. Find my Instagram, message me. I would love to, like, reconnect, you know? Riley's dying. And I'm like, wow, he's really finding this sweet moment, just, like, so hilarious. Like what's going on here? It was fake.
But
It's
you
all
didn't tell you,
fake.
and then later the writer was like, but John is like really narcissistic and he's kind of selfish and he needs to stop listening to Kanye.
So I was trailing off and I didn't understand that last sentence when I started making my plea for my band teacher I thought that was just a joke or something. I don't know. I really believed it. April B says Riley got John so good last night. One thing I have to admit, it was a fantastic prank in pure objective execution. It truly was actually incredible, and we should do it to everyone.
Yeah.
It was actually great.
Easily done.
It was
Easily
great.
done.
It was great. Even me, I bet, you know what? I'm going to even bet myself that Riley could get me a second time,
I probably could.
even though I will be aware. But
John, I don't know, man. You're pretty
Wait,
gullible.
wait,
I
like-
love
I
you.
am pretty
A
gullible.
week.
You are pretty gullible.
You're right.
Mice window? What is that?
Yeah.
I put my half sibling in timeout, but my stepmom thinks I was way out of line. Maybe he needed to go in timeout.
Sometimes
think
you gotta
about
put them in timeout.
I, 19 female, am the child of divorced parents. I live with my single mother 75% of the time and have constant visitation with my father and his remarried family. I have 2 half siblings, 6 female, we will call Sally, and 4 male, we will call Connor. My siblings are my stepmom's children, and they are both miracle children. My sister was conceived after almost 7 years of IVF.
Wow.
My stepmom called her Rachel, cherished my sister like she was a god, because there was a very high chance my sister would be her only child because of how hard they had to try to have her. A few years later, my brother was conceived, and we were all really surprised because the doctor had told my stepmom that she would most likely never be pregnant again.
Wow.
Everyone wanted a boy since both me and my sister were girls, and my dad was begging that he would finally have a son. His prayers were answered,
Hallelujah.
and now he has the son he always wanted. But what about the
Amen.
girls? Did they get pushed to the side?
No, we mess with the girls, but we just want the son.
By the way, this comes from Different Intention 12 on the OK Storytime subreddit. Now that I'm working and doing at-home college classes, I go over to their house less and less. About 3 days. A weekend, 8 p.m. Friday to 8 p.m. Sunday. Every 2 to 3 weeks. Whenever I can't make it for a weekend, I take time out of my day to FaceTime my siblings for an hour. Whenever I go over there, I tend to play with my siblings 6 to 10 hours a day.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of play.
It gets to be a lot, especially since I'm 19 and I'm out of my toy phase, and my sister only wanted to play Barbies with me. So OP's basically babysitting here.
Yeah. And where does OP live right now?
Working and doing at-home college classes. I don't know, but
Okay.
not with them.
Got it.
About a month ago, my stepmom walked towards the front door and turned to me, who was playing with Sally in the playroom connected to the foyer. She told me that my brother was napping on the couch and that my dad was doing yard work. She finished by saying, "Make everyone lunch because I'll be out for a few hours. Make sure your dad stays hydrated and wake up your brother in 30 minutes." Opie is not their mom
Yeah.
or their dad. Why does her dad need to be... Why is she making sure her dad needs to get water?
Because he's thirsty.
Thirsty.
He's a thirsty guy.
And then she walked out and shut the door behind her.
Oof.
I sighed and told my sister I would be right back. I walked to the kitchen and made my dad a homemade energy drink that he liked. I took it out to him through the deck door in the living room and went back to playing with Sally. I woke up my brother like clockwork and turned on a show for him and my sister. Turned on a show for him and my sister in the living room so I could make lunch and still see them. I made lunch for everyone and sat my siblings at the table. I took my dad his lunch and then sat down at the table. By the time we were done eating, my dad finished the yard work and went upstairs to shower and change clothes. My siblings were fighting over a toy, and the fight ended with my sister hitting my brother. I scolded her and put her in timeout because violence is not okay. I had her sit down in a different spot than the normal timeout spot, which is sitting against the door, because my stepmom would be home soon and I didn't want my sister in the way of the door. The rules of timeout is that they must be calm for about 5 minutes before they can get out. The longer they cry and complain, the longer they sit there. That's actually kind of a good timeout rule.
I disagree.
You're against this?
Gabor Mate, are you familiar with that?
No.
He talks a lot about child psychology, but he shares that to place a child that is having like a temper tantrum or is like angry in timeout until they're better or until their emotions
it's not
goes away
regulating their emotions well.
is essentially not teaching them or not modeling how to regulate their emotions, and it's actually saying like you'll be banished until your emotions go away. In a sense, to the child, to the child's brain, that is like what is being conveyed.
Okay, I take it back.
That's all
you
it
convinced
took.
me. Since my sister screamed at me saying that I was not her mom and I couldn't do this to her. She sat there for a total of 23 minutes before my stepmom returned. When Rachel walked in to my sister in timeout, she began yelling at me saying that I couldn't punish her daughter. I responded telling her the situation and why she was in timeout. Nothing I said got to her and she continued yelling at me. I snapped. I yelled at her that I was the one that she put in charge. I continued saying that punishment was needed, and if I had waited for my dad to come down, Sally probably would have hit our brother again. I ended my rant saying, "You left me alone with your kids for hours without any prior notice and expected me to parent them, so I did. I parented them. Maybe next time you shouldn't walk out on your kids and actually be a mother to them instead of handing them to your stepdaughter who can't get a break." Which, honestly, I do think that is fair. I think that OP was placed in a position where she was a kind of, she was an authority figure.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't, explicit.
Mm-hmm.
She was left alone with the kids, and the kids were being unruly and were hitting each other. And I think that is, that is behavior that does need to be stopped.
And it seems that the stepmom already has timeout space.
Yes. So it's not like that's out of the norm.
Yeah. And so while I don't agree
correction.
with that specific style of parenting, it doesn't seem like she did something that the stepmom wouldn't do herself.
Yeah.
I think it was just the fact that like
she did it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think that is very frustrating. Yeah. I then ran up the stairs and shut myself in my room. My dad came in my room, and a minute later, he had been folding laundry and had heard everything. He sat down on my bed next to me and told me that he understood why I was angry, but that my stepmom was right. I wasn't their mother, and I should have gotten my dad to handle the situation. Okay, but like, that's just, I don't know. This is annoying. I think that if OP, like, it's not like OP was using corporal punishment. This isn't a punishment that's gonna, scar them in any ways.
Hopefully.
Unless you're talking to the child psychologist. But I think this is, it's the same thing that would happen if you had a babysitter. They would have to try and keep the kids in line and stuff. And if you leave your children alone with someone and ask them to watch them, that is part of watching a child, is making sure that they're not hitting each other.
I think that all parties should get over it, understand that there were no agreements made, and that you need some conflict in order to bring you into better agreements that everyone could be explicit and agreed to. And so moving forward, you would say, hey, if I put you in charge, if you're, making food or waking up your brother, I don't want you to punish them. I want you to get me in the future, and then move forward with that agreement in hand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I would think, as a person who's done babysitting before, I would be pretty annoyed if, like, I was trying to handle kids that had been placed in my care, and they were like, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Dude, you were not there.
Yeah.
You were not there. I'm trying to stop kids from hitting each other." But also, it's just communication that needs to happen here. I know they're right. I'm not their mom, but I was put in charge, and I feel like I was justified to punish my sister for hitting someone. So I need to know, was I the bad apple?
I think at the end of the day, if the stepmom was giving authority to OP to take care of the kids, that includes, like setting boundaries with the kids and punishment around that. And so if you are specific about it being done a certain way, or if you
as
really
the parent
don't want that to be happening, I think that should have been communicated from the onset.
Absolutely. And I think you as the parent need to do that. Like, that's not on OP to ask all those questions. That's on you.
Yeah.
Have you guys babysitted before?
Yes.
I have
I mean, but like, have you ever had like that? I'm sorry to add on to that. Like, have you ever had that experience with the children?
Oh, not where like the parents came in, but I've had to like, when I say punish, I just mean like, but there is an edit. Edit. OMG, I posted this a few hours ago and it has more votes than any post I've done on Reddit. Thank you so much. I wanted to address a common thing among the comments. A lot of you guys tell me to just leave. I don't know if I mentioned this in the post, but I cannot drive due to personal reasons. I don't have my license, nor do I have a car, and my mom lives 45 minutes away from my father, so walking home isn't an option. Another thing is why I didn't just stand up for myself before. My dad and stepmother are toxic. They constantly yell at each other sometimes for hours at a time.
Oh, no.
My mental health is seriously plummeted because of their yelling, and I'm terrified that my siblings will suffer the same fate so young.
Damn.
I go over as often as I can to be someone they can go to if they're sad or scared when their parents are yelling. Ugh, that's so sad. But you would never be sad if you joined us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok.
We'd never yell at you.
We would never yell
Just
at
each
you.
other.
I'll babysit you guys.
But there is a little bit left. To prove the severity of this, once when my sister was 3, her parents were fighting as always, and then they stopped and continued on with their lives. I had been sitting with my sister in my lap, covering her ears. Ugh. When the yelling stopped, I removed my hands, and she looked at me with no emotion and just said, "Sissy, it's finally quiet." It's never quiet. It literally broke my heart into 1,000 pieces.
Jeez.
So yeah, that's why I don't leave, and why I tend not to defend myself when getting yelled at, because I don't want my siblings thinking I'm a loud yeller just like their parents. This was sad. That was a sad story.
That was it, with sad ending.
Very sad ending,
very
not
sad
hopeful.
image.
Oh,
It's
man.
so sad. It's just the fact that like
I don't think there
there's
is
so
much
many
you can
homes
do with the
even
parents.
worse than that.
Yeah.
And that kids have to be subjected to being in households like that.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I think that like for advice for OP, I don't know if there is, I don't know if your parents do know how to communicate that well, if this is what you're going through. But I think it's also just like important to make sure, obviously you feel guilt and you want to protect your siblings, but make sure that you're protecting yourself.
The story's over.
Am I the a-hole for telling my stepdaughter she is welcome to live with her mother full-time because I won't get rid of her Harry Potter themed bookcase?
We love Harry Potter, though. Why are you getting rid of that?
We are Harry Potter stans on this show.
Yeah!
That's right. Jazz Like Original 358 attempts to defend themselves. I'm having a bit of a family drama and need a reality check about if I am being unreasonable here. I really need the perspective of LGBT plus sensitive individuals because the drama surrounding transphobia perpetrated by J.K. Rowling.
My sister has nuanced opinions of this because she's a Harry Potter lover and a J.K. Rowling unlover. I wish she was here. Sophia! Actually, maybe we could call her and we could get her perspective at the end.
Now that's
Dude,
a call.
she's off the clock. Let her be.
She's off the grid.
Fine, you're right. She would actually, I think she would love this question, though.
Yeah, we should have done it earlier.
True.
What's she up to? She's on at a movie?
She's in a movie, I think.
Ah, okay. All right, yeah, she's off.
So my stepdaughter is going through a pretty rough time. The last couple of years have been really rough on her. She's been dealing with bullying at school, being held back a year, not getting along with her mom's new husband, self-harm, and identity issues. Lots of questions around her sexuality and gender. We have been working on getting her a good mental health team of doctors and therapists to help her navigate all of this, because we know we aren't throwing her to the wolves or the internet to deal with it all herself. I have been in her life since she was 7. We've always had a pretty good, though not terribly close relationship. I have not taken on a paternal role, but have always tried to make myself available for her.
Okay, this is OP's stepdaughter that's having all these issues.
Yes. Until last year, her mom had primary custody until her dad had weekends with alternating holidays. Last year, due to the issues with her school and mom's house, my stepdaughter requested that custody arrangement changed. Since she came to live with my husband and I full-time, there has been quite a bit of friction between the two of us. One of the biggest points of contention is my Harry Potter fandom, particularly the bookcase, and my supposed transphobia due to my apparently wrong stance when it comes to the politics regarding trans issues in our country. I grew up in the heyday.
The heyday of what? Oh, of Harry Potter?
Maybe. Let's see. So many of my childhood and teen memories are tied to the franchise of Harry Potter. There you go.
Dude, Harry Potter heyday was immaculate. I remember going to Harry Potter 2 with my dad. Oh.
So super quick, okay, story time. I ended up reading the Harry Potter series 7 times, but this was before I read everything, all of them. My mom surprised me on the last book released on my birthday, literally on midnight on my birthday. And they tried to get me tickets, but it was all sold out at like every Books A Million in town. And then my babysitter's cousin was like, oh, I can't make it. So they surprised me like flying back from camp. Like that day, she's like, we are going tonight to the Books A Million to get the book on your birthday.
No way.
Low-key, like one of the littest days ever.
That sounds sick.
It
yeah,
was
dude.
fire.
I have so many fond memories connected to Harry Potter too.
Yeah. And I was so young. I was in like elementary school.
Yeah,
So I was
dude.
like just
you were 40
barely
in
able.
elementary school?
Yup. I was too young to get the full wave, but I got a taste
got a
of the
taste.
book.
Yeah.
The book era. Anyways, I digress. There you go. There's an okay story time.
We're about Harry Potter like this, John.
Bro, I go hard in the paint for my boy HB. Don't get it twisted. Voldemort is an op. My friends and I were really into it. We attended midnight book releases, dressed up in costumes for movie releases, threw Harry Potter themed parties when we wanted to hang out, etc., etc. In many ways, it shaped the course of my entire life. Those same friends and I joined our high school's botany club because herbology, heck yeah.
Oh.
And that unlocked a lifelong passion of mine and my career in working with plants.
So literally Harry Potter shaped your career.
That's fire.
That's deep.
That's fire. Over the years, I've collected quite a bit of memorabilia, many of which are gifts, and they have always been displayed on my most prized possessions. A monstrously large custom bookcase my grandfather, a former woodworker, built for me when I was a teenager. I love this thing.
This is cute. I see the ICU though.
Oh yeah.
I totally see the ICU.
This ICU is Hagrid's family a giant. Just boom, boom, fee, fi, fo, fum, ICU, here I come. It's coming, ladies and gentlemen. Put it in the comments if you know what it is. It's pretty clear. I love this thing. The shelves are live edge black walnut slabs. All around the casing, my grandpa carved beautiful Harry Potter themed imagery. I'm talking owls, cauldrons, shooting stars, light bolts, and an adorable little rat at the bottom and nibble marks from said rat.
That is entirely thoughtful. Wow. Shout out to Gramps.
Dude, Grandpa of Human Space-Time Continuum Award. My God. It's both sentimental and valuable. The slabs of walnut for the shelf alone will be pushing $1,000, let alone the value of hand-carved craftsmanship. So this book, like to a Harry Potter fan,
yeah, that would be worth oodles.
up to tens of thousands of dollars, I would estimate.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Wow. The bookcase has always been proudly displayed in my home. It currently lives in our living room. During one of our family therapy sessions, my stepdaughter expressed that seeing my Harry Potter shelf made her feel really uncomfortable because of the author, and that she was really disappointed in me and her father for being so supportive of a bigot.
Yeah.
J.K. Rowling.
I saw it coming.
We saw it.
We
That
saw
was the
it.
fee fi fo fum,
We
guys.
saw it coming.
The giant ICU.
Also, shout out to chat for knowing walnut is the hardest wood.
I didn't know that. I apologized for making her feel uncomfortable in her own home and said that I would take down the Harry Potter stuff. So I packed up all the Harry Potter themed merch off the shelves.
Wow.
Made sure I didn't have the books or anything on display that said Harry Potter anywhere. I bought some LED grow lights and converted it into a plant shelf to display succulents.
OP is doing the most. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting that OP would do that. Like, I would have been like, it's the art versus the artist kind of thing. Like, I think it's fine to enjoy someone's art, especially if it meant so much to this person.
Yes.
Throughout their life.
I think it is case by case. And there's definitely cases where it is and definitely cases where it's not.
And then there's bookcases.
And then there's magical bookcases. I bought some witchy but not overtly Harry Potter themed pots for the little guys, the succulents, that they would go on the shelf. This was not an acceptable compromise for my stepdaughter and has remained a point of contention, with my stepdaughter hurling that we, referring to my husband, broke a promise by saying we would get rid of the Harry Potter stuff. I tried to explain to my stepdaughter that while I do not agree with J.K. Rowling's political stance at all, the media has a special place in my heart because of the childhood association with it, and that shelf was very important to me because it was a gift from my grandpa. And the media meaning the Harry Potter series, not the media talking about J.K. Rowling. But she maintains that none of that should matter because in 2024, it is nothing but a symbol of transphobia and hate. At first, my husband was supportive of me and my desire to keep the bookcase, but lately the arguments are wearing on him, and he asked me if I would reconsider keeping it in the living room. Suggested we rent a storage unit to house it in.
But that's like, is your grandfather still alive? Like, that's like commemorate the grandfather,
At
the relationship.
bare minimum, put it in your like private bedroom.
Yeah.
I would not suggest a storage unit. That's a little bit of a slap. Like, if it's in a storage unit, I'm sorry, but
That's kind of whack, dude.
memorabilia does go there, but that is not befitting of it.
No, this is art.
And this is also meant, like, I feel like the grandfather built this to last for a long time.
Beauty Like Night says the fact that the grandpa made the bookcase does bring nuance, though. Like, I think even for people who are like staunch J.K. Rowling haters and like believe that she truly represents like transphobia in its most deplorable form, would maybe give a little bit of leeway for a bookcase of this nature.
Right. Yeah. Even considering all of that, it's like with this specific scenario we're looking at, there's leeway for the bookcase, you know, not necessarily supporting J.K. Rowling and her views.
But also, I'm like, the stepdaughter is maybe not thinking from that place. The stepdaughter is going through like a really hard time.
Probably not. And also like the stepdaughter, step-parent dynamic of like, you're trying to win my approval, maybe. We'll see. But that might be at play. After the most recent blow up about it, I kind of lost my temper. I didn't yell or anything, but I did very firmly tell my stepdaughter that this is my home and my bookshelf stays.
Putting down the law.
Boom. If it is such a big problem for her, she can always go back to live with her mother. Was that too far?
Is that too far? Because what? Because the mother was pretty terrible to her.
I don't know. I'm not sure on that, but just kind of like, all right, you can get out of my house, kind of. You can live elsewhere.
But it's been so many conversations. I think it's not that bad.
Not the worst ever.
When I say it, I may say it. I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's a little bit too far.
But I mean, what did the mother do again? Kimberly finds it's not far enough. Send her to her aunt to live under the staircase.
Yes.
I think if it's like a really low blow where like the mother has really been really terrible. I forget what happened in the beginning.
Sorry. Yes, I found it. Last year, due to the issues with her school and mom's house, my stepdaughter requested that the custody arrangements be changed to live with OP and OP's husband.
Yeah, I think there is a slight maybe reframing where it's like, hey, this is a bookcase that stays. I know this house is maybe not the most comfortable, but like, or I don't even know what you say. Like,
I know you might not agree
with everything, and I want to make you feel as comfortable as I can, but this is my house, and I also want to make sure that I feel comfortable.
And also, like, I feel like I've heard you out and made changes. Here's why, and here's what I did, and why I personally feel that I've like done that, and that I respect and wanted to take action on those things. But here's why this specific thing is something I want to keep here, and it is my house at the end of the day. But Opie says, I knew it was a low blow pretty much as soon as I said it. I quickly apologized, but it was out there. My stepdaughter has been on an emotional downward spiral. My husband and I have been arguing almost nonstop. I think it's mostly stress because he is at his wit's end with how to help his daughter, but he is becoming pretty mean and nasty towards me, telling me to grow up and just get rid of the effing bookcase. Ooh, get rid? I know I was a dick for saying my stepdaughter could always go back to live with her mom, and I suspect that will be my main topic at hand in our next family therapy session. But am I really being unreasonable in wanting wanting to keep my bookcase. And there is an edit, there is relevant comments, and there is a update.
Our members only chat says, we asked too far to say you can live with your mother. Most people said no, 69%, 30% of people said yes. I think we kind of agree that it's like towing the line, but probably better not said in that way.
Yeah, I think a little too far.
And I think OP also said she was a little bit of a dick.
She felt that way after.
So
like, yeah,
that's telling.
Said that.
Tone is everything too.
Yes.
But I also think it's a little mean. And then Tomlet had a good $2 tip chat and said, not the a-hole, I'm a former Harry Potter stan in the LGBT community and do a lot of DIY projects. JK ruined Harry Potter for me, but the fandom believes the stories belong to us now, and she turned her back on her own message. Also, anything fan made, aka doesn't pay JK, and that's fine.
Oh, that's another. I didn't even think about that part, because it's like, hey, she's not even, because that is a big in the art versus artist debate, that is a big point of contention of like, hey, the artist is getting paid off of you continuing to watch movies, play, like whatever. But in this specific case, there actually is no financial tieback.
Exactly, which I think would make it completely fine. It's just going off a story.
Yeah, in this specific case, I believe that the art can be separated, and not just the art, specifically the bookcase, because it's almost like yet another degree of separation away from like the core works and core arts and the artist debates.
Yeah, I agree. But is there more to the story?
There is. Did we put up a poll? Have we done a poll on like basically that the art of the artist in this?
Oh yeah,
scenario?
that's a good poll. Maybe it's like, is having the bookcase transphobic?
There we go. Well, let's go there. Let's talk about it.
I feel like that's not like super, maybe that's a little bit too like obtuse. I don't know. I'm using obtuse a lot today.
Here we go. Riley sent it, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. All right, let's get into this edit while those results roll in here. So edit, thank you to everyone. Honestly, thank you for those who share their insight and advice. And thank you to the people who asked me hard questions that made me think, especially those who asked what matters more, a bookcase or my child/a child. I've been reflecting really hard on what my bookcase means to me and why it is so important. I'm hitting some deep truths I don't think I was ready to recognize about how I really feel about my relationship with my stepdaughter. All in all, I think we just need to shelve things until our next therapy session. I'll see myself out. But most people are saying no.
Yeah, most people are saying no.
Most people are saying no. That's the end of the edit right there. But as for some relevant comments here, and then we'll be looking for relevant comments if you guys have any. Well, I would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, so line up in the Discord, Dr. Riley.
That's right. Molasses Inevitable says, telling me to grow up and get rid of the effing bookcase, telling you to get rid of something your grandfather lovingly created for you because his daughter is having a teenage stroke about it. F no. Is there room in your bedroom for the bookcase?
That's what John said. Nice.
Mention Interesting 58 says, that's maybe the best choice. Zugma says, or in OP's place, if my books and bookshelves aren't welcome, it's not a home for me. And none of my bookshelves were lovingly hand carved by now deceased relatives. Teenagers are prone to being extreme and overreacting. She will eventually grow up and realize how ridiculous and fair she is being. Deleted says, not to sound like a boomer, but this has to be some sort of generational thing, right? When we were kids, if one or more of my friends or I demanded that our parents remove a piece of furniture from their homes, they would simply laugh in our faces. Revolutionary Yak says, seriously, Zennial here, so Gen X millennial cusper, my mother would have ignored me the first time and told me to get over it the second time I asked. Dad would have listened to me and then TD'd me, timed out, grounded me, and then would have told me when I paid for the house, I could get what I wanted. The classic boomer response right there. Fitz Design says, so while your comments were harsh, they were understandable. We went through something similar when one of our kids thought she might be trans, and it was a very challenging few years until she re-identified as cisgendered. We tried to be very supportive, as you have been, but every little mistake we made was leapt upon by her and her sisters as being unsupportive. We walked on eggshells for several years trying not to offend anyone. At the end, we had to say, we are sorry and we fully support you, but you need to learn to manage yourself. Not everyone in the world is going to bow down to ensure your comfort. We fully support you and have gotten you the psychiatrist and medical support that you need. However, you'd hammered us at every tiny mistake, and enough is enough. We are your parents, we support you, but we're not your punching bags. The point was made and life calmed down. I see some parallels here with your bookcase. It is part of you, and she needs to see that you support her and she is loved, but at the same time, you are not there for her to constantly beat on. Not everything you do is going to be perfect, and she needs to understand and accept that just as you are accepting her. Your husband needs to be on board with this as well, as if he is sabotaging you, then your efforts are doomed. If he can't support you, then you may need to think about whether or not your relationship is viable long term. Good luck, OP.
Really thorough comment.
Very, very thorough. To which OP responds, and we're getting into the update right after this. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. It is very similar to what we are going through. This is very validating. My stepdaughter has definitely been trying on different identities and gets very upset when we slip up and make a mistake and use a wrong pronoun. It isn't intentional. Over the last 3 years, she has identified as male, female, non-binary, fluid, and other. Fluid was the toughest as she expected us to use different names and pronouns based on how she was presenting that particular day. Problem being, she most often wears gender neutral attire. Sorry, stepdaughter, for all the times I got it wrong when you wear sweatpants and a t-shirt. And that leads us to, by the way, the judgment on the post, which was not the a-hole on OP. So judging OP, not the a-hole. We do have an update.
I feel like we agree with that.
Yeah, we do have an update from 2 months later, but yeah, I think poll says point blank is the bookcase transphobic. It was 98% no. I totally agree. Again,
who was the one person that said yes, or two people that said yes? I would be curious to know why.
Please let us know. Honestly, I think this is a very good discussion because then you dive into the meat and nuance of why. Because it is so easy to just label something as transphobic or whatever, but what is the true reason behind it? And truly understanding and then, believing or not believing that that is the case. And yeah, I think that OP did a lot to show that they're like, hey,
OP tried. OP tried
yeah.
to make not consolations, but to make compromises with the stepdaughter by literally removing all of the memorabilia from the bookcase. So it's like not getting rid of the whole bookcase, I think, was a little bit too much. And I think it's okay for OP to stand that ground.
And I might be incorrect in this, but I believe OP was like, yeah, I don't agree with J.K. Rowling's use.
What was the end bit of what OP said?
That one was more on...
about she didn't... OP didn't know about
her own discovering their own identity.
Yeah.
And going through that journey. But yeah, and as the Tomlet said, it's also not financially supporting back. So I think there's kind of several layers here. 2 months later, in this update, someone asked if I could update the situation, and I'll try my best to summarize the past several weeks. My husband and I spoke about the situation. He apologized for being snappish with me and agreed that stepdaughter was being unreasonable about the bookcase. He ultimately agreed to back me about it. He and I are just as tight as we have ever been.
Let's go. Okay.
That's great.
This is good.
Great
start.
Bit of this update. I once again apologized for stepdaughter for my remark I said out of frustration about her moving back with her mom. I reiterated that our home is her home too, and she is always welcome here. Love that. That even though families sometimes fight and disagree, we are family. Just like Harry, Ron, and Hermione. But the general argument about Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, and my bookcase continued to escalate for a couple of weeks.
Oh, it just comes back.
It just keeps on chugging like the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah, it's like, that scene where Ron goes, "Eat slugs, Malfoy," and then it just fires back at him, and he's just repeatedly throwing up slugs.
Barfing slugs, dude.
Oh, you thought the gagging was over? No!
It's back. And then the discontent about that started to bleed over into complaints about me. She started to get more disrespectful and sarcastic. Teenagers, what are you gonna do?
Wait, I thought it was going well.
You freaking thought, But guess what? Everyone thought that Voldemort was gone.
We did.
But he was back.
He came back.
That's right.
Got those Horcruxes.
Yep, he did that.
He did that.
But he got vanquished again. Spoiler alert. During all of this, we were still attending our family therapy sessions. Our therapist was pretty certain that the misbehavior was anxiety related and didn't suggest that we give in to the demands to have the bookcase removed and wanted to just keep working on the things that we have been. Well, stepdaughter's disrespectful attitude hit a climax. She called me the C word and some other choice things within my husband's earshot. My husband kind of lost it on her. I don't think I have ever seen him that angry before. He was bright red and vein popping angry as he marched her to her room and declared, "You will not speak to my wife in such a way."
All right, there we go.
Daddy laying down the law.
Okay.
Hard as a walnut. This was probably the first time my stepdaughter had ever seen her dad angry, let alone anger directed at her. So not even just angry in general.
Yeah.
Opie says it left her pretty shook. Like that was her rock bottom. We ended up needing to do a couple emergency sessions with her counselor because there was a concern about her relapsing with some self-destructive issues she had been working on. But that incident led to us having a breakthrough. Her counselor invited my husband and I into one of her sessions, and she had a bit of a breakdown. Basically, she was dealing with a lot of existential dread and a lot of fear due to politics and it being an election year. This ended up being an excellent opening for us to bond. This sounded silly, but I was able to pull up my social media timelines back from 2016, and I showed her some of the things I had written or had shared with me back then.
So basically he's like, hey, or basically she's like, look at what I've written from 2016 on. I'm on your side, like politically.
I think so. I think we're about to get more context. She was able to see that I shared a lot of the same fears that she has. So we've all had some really big talks about things like feeling helpless when things are out of your control, about disengaging from the media machine for your own mental health, etc., etc.
Agreed, dude. I used to listen to the news religiously and now I do not.
Yeah. Things have been on the upswing since then. Before she left for her mom's this past weekend, she even gave me a Mother's Day gift, an adorable planter that says, "Caution, mandrakes."
She's buying into the fandom.
We won her over. I love it. I put one of my favorite props in it, and it is front and center in my bookcase now. That is freaking adorable. We got some quick relevant comments to close us out. FU Creeps username says, yes, yes, yes. I love when communication actually comes to the rescue, although I hate that sometimes it has to be about our common plague of existential dread. Great job, everyone. And Fragrant Reserve says, it wasn't communication that came to the rescue. It was an old-fashioned bullocking by dad.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, true. And Bex Callie says, well, this was an unexpected type of communication, wasn't it? It woke her the heck up, as it has never happened before, since she's not stooped so low before while taking out her anxiety on her stepmother, though she was extra receptive to the subsequent communications at the therapist.
So I guess yell at your kids?
Yeah, no. Well, I think it sounded like really the final thing that pushed her over the edge was her showing the receipts of her.
It seems like two things. It was one, the dad coming in and not being a passive parent. I was seeing that in the chat, not being a passive parent and saying, hey, you cannot talk to her like that. Not necessarily like, I'm not condoning like yelling at your kids, but being like laying down some boundaries. I think boundaries weren't really drawn by the father. At least I didn't see any drawn in the like early of the stories. But I think that was part of it. And then the other part, I think, was what you said.
Yes. It was the 1-2 diddly do.
Yeah. Like showing that, hey, I am like you. I am struggling with stuff like existential dread and the political climate being crazy. Like just know that I'm also on your side.
And then that brought them together in an amazing way. I would say this is kind of solved, at least for now.
There we go. Reddit solved the case.
Ha ha. My stepmother-in-law keeps posting pictures of our kids online, so we threatened to cut her off.
Is she saying that these are my kids? Like, hey, look at my kids.
She's trying manifest.
Manifest.
Manifest. Don't let Granny do it.
The secret, babies.
My wife and I have 2 children, 8 male and 5 female, and we are expecting a third. Since our oldest was born, we have been clear and consistent about not wanting pictures of them posted online. It was my wife's idea, but mutual decision. So
that's a thing that's like people are doing nowadays. They're like, oh, like I don't know if having our children everywhere online is a good idea.
All the cool,
cool Casey
kids.
Neistat doesn't post his kids online.
And he's a cool guy.
That's
a very freaking cool guy.
You know who also doesn't post her kids?
Who?
I think Jeff Bezos.
Probably true.
But he doesn't have kids, so that's probably one of the main reasons.
He just has these bad boys.
Yeah, dude. Jeff is freaking yoked.
Absolutely yoked.
Yep. Let's get him and Mark Zuckerberg in a ring together.
I'd do.
My money's on Mark.
I'd pay for that. I don't know, bro. Freaking.
Bro, Lex Luthor versus like frat boy. He's not a frat boy, but he looks like one with his curly hair.
Dude,
Yeah,
but he
good
trains
boy.
in jujitsu now. He's like a BJJ champion.
He is a BJJ champion.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that?
Emphasis on the. I have seen a little bit.
Yeah,
of that.
I know where you're going. I know, but emphasis on the first 2 letters.
Yeah. Well, you know where this story
Suck
came from?
loves to suck.
Oh God. But you know what? This story came from Mission Atmosphere 16. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Send it in. We might read it. So most of our friends and family have no problem with that, but we've had problems with my wife's stepmother. She has on several occasions posted photos of her children on her Instagram without our consent. Crossing the line, Granny. Most are harmless, pictures of her with them or family photos with more people in them. But there have been a few times she took pictures of the kids behind their backs and posted them. Every time we see
That's just a bad picture if it's behind their back, though.
Dude, be a better photographer.
Yeah, get in
Ever try
front
that?
of them. Like you want in front of their back.
Yeah.
Well, I guess is behind their back. Wait, if you're taking a picture, if you're taking a picture behind the back, then you're getting someone's back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to see like the face. Cute
But
kids,
also,
face
I
smiling.
feel like in front of behind the back almost feels like it should, like it would, like this is my front is behind my back.
I think you're dude, you're diving deep into this, dude.
Okay. Anyway,
Diving deep into this. Every time we see a photo of our children on our Instagram page, we tell her to delete it. She always does, but the next time she sees them, it happens again. We've been having this discussion with her daughter since our daughter was born. She never listens. I want to ask real quick, everyone in chat and comments, and Sam, how many, you set this boundary with your stepmother, how many times does she have to like post before you cut off? Where it was like, you can't see the kids anymore. You told her no, she keeps posting.
15.
15. Wow. I think
15.
10? 10 maybe? Guys, let us know in the comments what your number is. I'm very curious to see.
Only because like this is like it's such a normal behavior to like post pictures of people. So it's like a hard behavior to unlearn. So 15 chances seems like a lot of chances.
That's an ample amount. I think you're giving them a good opportunity. So my family spent New Year's Eve at a rented beach house with some of my wife's paternal family. We returned home on January 1st. That same day, my wife's stepmother posted several pictures from the trip. Buried between them were 3 photos of our kids on the beach. They were wearing swimsuits, except for one of the pictures don't seem aware they're being photographed. My wife and I talked, and
That's called a candid.
That's
what everyone's doing these days. The candid Instagram. That's what's most important.
That's what
The
all the cool
aesthetic.
kids are doing.
Yeah, dude. I see.
aesthetics.
My Instagram, very uncandid. I need to get on it.
Yeah, bro. We don't post. We post 100 times a day on the show and 0 times.
Zero.
A year.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I want my Instagram to be aesthetic.
We'll get there, guys.
I want it to be
we're
like
working on
a hot girl that only travels. You
I
know?
mean, that's
what I
peak.
want. That's peak.
IG.
That's peak.
That's very
Yeah,
peak
that'd
IG.
be
Now, my wife and I talked, and we both agreed we'd given her stepmother enough chances. As long as she's active on social media, she will continue posting pictures of our children without our consent. We called her yesterday and said that she won't be allowed to see back her kids unless she deletes her Instagram account. Ooh, okay, that's a poll. Delete IG or nah? Do we tell her delete IG or nah? I'm very curious to hear what you have to say.
Under or under 1,000 followers.
Oh, like if it's over 1,000 followers, then it's like, oh no.
Is it monetized?
Yeah, I feel I don't know.
It's too much. Yeah, I think like deleting all the photos of your kids, totally. That is totally fair, totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Deleting the whole account, she probably just likes posting memories and
Yeah,
stuff. Like it's like a photo book, of a family.
I mean, like for example, my dad takes way too many pictures at every event. He just likes having
cute.
pictures. It's cute. It's like he's not doing anything with it. He likes having them.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people's Instagrams are the same. I think it's too much.
I think it's too much,
But I'd love to know what you guys think.
let us know. So that means that she won't have any kind of contact with them, receive pictures, or be invited to their events. She cried during the call and tried to promise us that she would delete the New Year's Eve post and never do anything like that again, but we told her that we can't trust her. She can keep her account if she wants to, but she won't be allowed near our kids if she does. My father-in-law, who's also against posting pictures of children on social media, called my wife last night. He agreed that her stepmother crossed the line, but said cutting her off from our children was an exaggeration.
I agree with that completely. Like, she crossed the line by posting those pictures, which you specifically told her not to.
Mm-hmm.
but it feel like to cut someone off over that feels so aggressive.
Yeah, cutting off is it is aggressive. I'm gonna chew on that one, because that's kind of a tricky one. He said that she just started to make money with social media, but she also loves our kids very much, and it's cruel to force her to choose.
Dude,
She's
she's monetized.
She's monetizing. Granny's trying to get her bag up, okay? I don't think that we're in the wrong here, but I'm still worried we're taking this too far. Am I the a-hole? We have some relevant comments coming up, but really quickly, first, is OP the a-hole, yes or no?
I don't want to say a-hole because it's your kids and you can decide like what you want, but it seems overly strict. Yes, she crossed a boundary that you specifically put, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah, it's not quite to a-hole. It's not like 51% a-hole, but it's too much, and it's not a crime worthy of the punishment.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, hey, like we need proof that you're not going to do this, so I think we need to take a break for like a month, and maybe that accomplishes the same thing as like saying. I feel like saying like we're gonna take a break from seeing you for a little bit because we really like don't want this, but we'll see you in a little bit, and then it's like you know when your iPhone, you put in a password too many times, and it's like, hey, you're not gonna put in a password the next minute, and then you put in a password wrong again. All right, 2 minutes, and then it just like keeps going up and up. I think you iPhone password her.
Yep.
Where it's like, hey, you made too many boo-boos. We're not going to see you for like a month.
Bye, Granny.
And then you go again, and she posts pictures of her kids. 2 months.
Yeah, I agree.
2 months later, she posts pictures of her kid. 4 months. Keep doubling it.
That's the perfect solution.
That's what I think I would do.
Yeah, because that should teach any sane person their lesson.
Or 50-50 split.
On the revenue.
Hey man, we gotta this is my kids we're talking about.
I gotta get compensated.
We gotta bump that up.
Yeah,
Granny, I'm sorry, but that monetization about to go to me.
90-10.
And the kids. That's a college fund right there, okay? Oh man. So we got some relevant comments. Commenter number 1 says, not the a-hole. She started making money off of social media. Translates into my mind to she knows that posting kids will help engagement and pay more. That is another thing I thought about that we haven't talked about yet. And I would never allow that. Stand your ground. You've given her
true. Posting kids pays more.
Well, no. So think about this, right? If she just started monetizing her account, and then she noticed, like, I mean, it's like puppies, cute kids or whatever. Like, oh, that probably she's putting out granny content. Probably cute grandkids is grade A freaking granny.
Dude, what are these
content.
granny influencers like?
Bro, they're out here like,
are they out here?
Here's my depends. Here's the top. Here's my review of these. All kinds of granny content, man.
Who's the oldest influencer that you watch?
There's the house with all the old people in it.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
yeah. I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah. Okay,
That's gotta be. They're pretty up there.
They're pretty up there.
Low key, dude. Being old is a hack for creating content. By the way, anyone out there that's like freaking old,
but you have to be old.
You gotta be old though.
Yeah, like I was when I was searching for grandpas in New York. There's like the cute grandpa factor.
Yeah,
and you have to be like 80 plus, and then you're like a cute grandpa.
That's
but like
true.
80 minus, you're not like cute yet.
Yeah,
you have to be like a little bit more frail and a little bit more helpless, and then you get into cute territory.
Yeah, like can you pass me the salt, hey Sonny?
Yeah.
That's cute,
dude. But then our generation, it's just gonna be a lot of old people on social media.
And it's gonna be rad. It's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be,
but it's just gonna be like, oh, it's another old person.
True. So get it while you can.
No, I think social media is generally a young person game.
A lot
of people die out.
Let me ask you this: are you gonna stop creating content at 80 years old?
Hell no.
There you go.
That's
me
true.
neither.
That's true.
I'm finna be 100 years old.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
hey guys.
Okay, granddaddy.
Ooh.
Throwback.
Use OK Granddaddy for 15% off on Blue Chew.
Yeah. Running it back. No free sponsors.
And 20% off, it depends.
Yeah. Use my personal link. Oh, anyways, self-joke. So, you've given her a chance, commenter says. Since she won't accept it, you can now give her a deadline, or you'll make the choice for her permanently. And then we have an update. But what was the final results in the poll? It was definitely mixed. So 43% said, hey, delete the. Oh, sorry. 46% said delete the IG. 54% said it's too far. So barely a majority, but the majority says that is too far and don't necessarily ask for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like there's
it's too
something.
much.
Yeah, I think it's too much. I do think there needs to be a line drawn.
Yes.
For sure. But I don't know if I personally would go that far. But I totally understand that there would people who want to be extremely careful with their children would go that far.
Yeah, we want a just punishment here. We're all for the punishment of the crime, but you got to do it right.
And we do realize, like, yeah, there are weirdos out there for sure. But like 90% of people post their kids. Like 99% of people post their kids on social media.
Yeah.
And so it's just like I feel like it's a hard habit to like let go of, maybe, for some people.
I will say, though, we don't know exactly how many times she's done it, but if she's done it like getting into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like, unless you have a memory problem, I feel like that's just like blatantly disrespecting like the boundary you want. I feel like it goes away from like, oh, a person likes sharing in general to just like they just straight up don't give an F.
Yeah. There needs to be consequences for sure. But deleting
the right consequences.
The right consequences. I don't know if deleting IG is like the right consequence.
We need a fair verdict here.
Because like also you could just download Snapchat or Facebook.
Oh man.
You know?
That's true. But also, there's a big old update.
Hit me with it.
Hey folks, thought I'd give you an update. I think I got into a lot of detail in the comments, but I feel like I should mention the following. So my wife's stepmother is 45. I'm not bowling the elderly here. So we're not quite in like full granny. She hasn't gone full granny yet. She has 60,000 followers on Instagram.
Whoa.
That also changes it.
That's a decent amount.
Yeah. Her Instagram account is not focused solely on my children. She started out as a lifestyle blogger a few years ago, and she started posting family stuff as well. And by the way, Sam, if you're looking for a date, we'll get that IG pulled up for you. I heard she's great with kids.
Oh man.
Oh,
Does she have the teeth that she can take out? Because that changes things for me.
Oh
right,
my
dude.
goodness.
That's the green flag right there.
That's an asset.
That's an asset. And now at least half of her content revolves around that. She tries to post pictures of my kids every time she takes them. Almost every time we see her, she posts a new picture. She has also posted more photos of my daughter than my son. Both me and my wife are on Instagram, but not very actively. She has a private account and another one for her job. I only have a personal account in which I rarely post anything. Neither of us have ever posted our children's faces in any of these accounts. My wife doesn't see her stepmother as a parent. She started dating my father-in-law when my wife was 20 years old, and they're not very close. My children don't see her as a grandmother either. This isn't about me looking for a reason to cut ties with my in-laws. I get along very well with my wife's father, and besides her behavior concerning social media, I have no problem with her stepmother. I really shouldn't have to explain why me and my wife don't want pictures of our children online. If you're a parent who has no problems with other postings, with others posting photos of your kids, that's fine. I'm not here to change your mind, nor would I attempt it if I were. Your decisions regarding your children are your own, as are mine, and none of us live in the United States. So yeah, those are the quick updates, and there's more there. But I feel like that does paint a lot more context, and
60K is a lot to expose your children to.
Yeah, this isn't like I was picturing again like a freaking sweet, cute little granny, just like, oh hey kitty, snap snap snap. No, this is like I am legitimately like
I'm influencing.
I'm influencing. I'm getting them brand deals. I'm getting all that stuff, and you're not only disrespecting my wish, but there's like a kind of added layer to it. It's like you're kind of like using my kids, you know, which I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like at the end of the day, it's just like, hey, respect the boundary that I feel.
And you can, and I think that's why I don't think OP is an a-hole. It's like you can put whatever boundaries that you want.
Yeah.
Me personally, like I don't know if I would like ask to delete the Instagram because I don't know if that's helpful.
Yeah. Oh, and also that also low key makes it a little bit more ridiculous on the flip side for them to ask that because that's like maybe a source of like her livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. But I think I think like putting distance between this person, it does make sense. I don't think that asking for the deleting Instagram makes sense.
Yeah.
You know?
1 month timeout.
Yeah.
Maybe.
1 month timeout. And then any picture you post, another 2 months,
Yeah.
and then more and more and more.
These are not content creator parents we're dealing with here.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to break it down for them. So I read your comments and talked through things with my wife. As upset as we are about this, we feel the need to deal with it fairly. So we have to take into consideration that, one, her stepmother's account is not focused solely on our children, and two, we had never threatened her with loss of contact before, so our ultimatum might have been too sudden. Okay, so we're kind of like, they're kind of seeing what we're saying here. That said, we are still not comfortable with our children being posted on social media, and we regret not effectively stopping this sooner. So however we move forward, we need to make it clear that we are serious about this boundary. So a few days ago, my wife and I met her father and stepmother at their place. We left the kids with my wife's mother, and we sat them down and told them that we'd retract the ultimatum, but we don't trust her stepmother to not sneak pictures of our children again. We decided to propose what many of you suggested, a no phone policy, which we would all abide by whenever my wife's stepmother saw our kids. She also would no longer receive any pictures of them anymore. And if she ever posted a photo of our children anywhere again, then we would cut her off from them. My father-in-law agreed right away, but his wife got offended. She said that she couldn't control how she used her phone.
What?
Oh no! I can't get you.
That's dumb.
Come on now.
Also,
I'd be influencing too much. Huh?
I would be checking the comments of the posts. Like, what kind of vibe we got going on here?
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like, I mean, it could for sure be weird, but it also could just be like a normal, just mommy blogger thing.
Yeah. I feel like she's a mommy blogger, but I do believe that probably that OP said she had already transitioned into doing like half of like family content. So these posts probably perform very well. And she's kind of using it. That's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. She tried to promise us she'd stop posting the kids again, but we said no. We can't trust her anymore, and we have no intention of giving her more chances. The four of us had an argument about this. My father-in-law mostly took our side. It lasted for a while, and my wife's stepmother started by apologizing, but eventually started trying to defend herself. She told us she always thought that we were overreacting and that lots of people post pictures of their children online every day without any problems. We asked her why she was so insistent on posting pictures of our kids. She tried to dodge the question at first, but admitted that the posts with the kids got more engagement. We called it. She used the New Year's post as an example. It was only up for a little over 24 hours before she took it down, but she claimed it was one of her most successful posts ever.
Whoa.
When I asked her why she thought that had happened, she said it's because the kids look so cute in them. My wife looked at my stepmother and said, no, it's because they're barely dressed in them. You cannot convince us that a photo of our 5-year-old daughter in a swimsuit is getting attention from thousands of strangers because she's cute. Either you're an idiot or you know what you're doing by posting those pictures. I mean, just the risk alone.
Yeah, and if there's a lot of like the like to comment to save ratio is high.
Oh God, yeah.
I honestly wasn't even really thinking about that.
Even which again is why, like, listen, respect the boundary that these parents have set because that's what they want to do, and then also, why would you, if someone's worried about that, why even go anywhere potentially near that as a concern, right? Like, golly, dude.
Icky.
So she started crying. She said her content was wholesome, her followers are good people, and that we had no right to control her like that. My father-in-law was silent. That is when we gave up. We told her to keep her Instagram, but except she is losing access to our kids. She tried to make more excuses, including some of my followers think they're my kids, which my wife was furious about. But we stood our ground and went home. By the way, if you're going home, if you're going to work, if you're traveling across the country, and you're looking for 2,000 episodes of the best show on earth to keep you company, I have some good news for you. If you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and just search OK Storytime, all of our episodes will pop up. Full episodes with stories just like this, okay? But Sam, we are near the end of the story.
I feel weird.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
I think, yeah, when it reaches like this, again, I believe already because it was their boundary they set, like that's already the first stop of like, nah, you got to stop doing it. But with all the details and context of the stepmother, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I would want my kids around her because I'm like, one, just disgusted and just like leaves such a bad vibe. You know what I mean? I'm not liking this.
Yeah.
Neither am I.
Like how? Like I don't know. How can you not realize that?
I don't know. I thought just people like taking pictures of their kids.
Yeah.
Why does the internet always have to be weird?
It does be doing that.
It's people.
It does be doing that. Yes.
The end.
My father-in-law called me and my wife later that night. He told me he was disappointed in my wife and was taking our side. We're not sure how to deal with him. Neither of us want to cut him off from the kids, but we're not certain we can trust him either. My wife just told him we needed some space and he said that was fine. I am exhausted and my wife is doing even worse, but we've spoken about this and we're both also relieved. We've still got work to do, but nothing we can handle. For now, we've got 2 amazing children and a baby on the way, and they will always be our #1 priority. Thank you all for your support. I'm busy with the kids, so I can't promise I'll reply to as many comments, but I'll do my best. And you know what? I guess OP didn't because...
They'll be dead.
So that's it.
That was fun.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's hitting him hard because he just looks for the best in people.
Dude.
And he was just blindsided by this.
Blindsided.
It was
man.
like
I also have 60,000 Instagram followers.
Whoa. Whoa.
But you get more success posting Keon's cheeks than you do the other thing.
That's true.
And you don't do the other thing. There are no other things here.
Yeah.
What? What?
Children, I have lived in LA for a year. Honestly, I haven't seen a kid. I haven't. I can't tell you the last time I saw a child near this place.
Oh.
We do have a school close though.
Actually, last night,
We
a
literally-
kid
wait,
and
what are
a
you
dad was
talking
playing
about? We
basketball
literally have
together.
there's a school like very close.
Hmm.
You've never seen a kid walking home from school?
Maybe last year. But there was a kid and his dad playing basketball last night. I remember that.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
But don't worry, Sam. You're good. You're good, dude.
Ugh.
So that's it.
My husband gave my expensive purse to my stepdaughter without my permission, so I left them stranded.
Leave them on that island. Just let them fend for themselves.
My husband, Mel 41, is the worst at gift giving. We've been together for over 3 years, and after the first year of not receiving anything for my birthday, anniversary, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, was the last straw. After being told I wasn't his mother, I decided to start matching his energy. If someone's tits have been put in your mouth, they deserve a mother's gift. By the way, this comes from Definite Marsupial on the r/OK Storytime. Father's Day came and I was gone all day when normally I would have put together a big lunch, dinner, and drive 30 to 40 minutes to go to his daughter, Elena, now 16, so they could spend the whole day together. He called me in the afternoon and I was polite but not initiating conversation. He asked me when I was picking up his daughter and I replied I had plans and wasn't aware that I was supposed to pick her up since nothing was communicated to me. He responded with, "It's Father's Day." I used his response back, "You are not my father." I had anticipated him getting upset, and I knew a constructive conversation would not be had, so he started to raise his voice, and I told him to check the table and hung up. I had left a letter to him communicating how much I was hurt about going out of my way for him and not have any sort of reciprocation. He called me later and said he would try to be better and work on it. I ended up going to get his daughter during the week so they could enjoy a dinner together. Background info, he drives rig trucks, big rig trucks, so the vehicle we use every day is mine. He's been better about the gifts. It's more of go pick something out and I will pay for it, which I really don't mind. He does the same thing with his daughter. I do all the shopping for his family gifts when it comes to birthdays and holidays. Cut to a week before Christmas and I wake up to my favorite coffee drink. My husband is taking me to go out to eat breakfast, followed by a trip to the mall to pick out my Christmas gift.
Wow, that's such a nice little experience.
I rarely splurge on myself when it comes to purses and clothes. I have a preteen son from my first marriage, so I tend to be more practical on myself and spend on him for his birthday and Christmas. My stepdaughter, however, is very materialistic and always is asking for money for something expensive, and between her father and his family and her mother and her family and her stepfather, she always gets it. I'd repeatedly said out loud that I needed a new purse since mine was hanging on by a thread and had decided to invest in a good designer handbag. I started saving money and looking online for my new dream purse. So imagine my surprise and excitement when we get to the department store and I see they have my dream purse in stock. My husband sort of gave a look when he saw the price, and I told him I could contribute and explain how I had been saving so I could save enough to get this purse that I had been dreaming of for about months. He shook his head and said I deserved it and he would get it for me, but also gave me the expectation that since he was getting me this, he really couldn't afford to get me anything else. I screamed with delight and told him that was okay. I didn't need anything else. With all that taken care of, my husband asked me if I was okay to get his daughter and take her Christmas shopping. I had tons to do at home in preparation for the holiday, so this worked out so I could have the house empty to get what I needed done. I was reaching to get my new purse when we arrived home, and he said for me to leave it because he had another gift he had previously purchased for me and that he was going to put it inside the purse for me to open on Christmas. I was on cloud 9, so I kissed him and left my bag and went outside. I was still busy cleaning and decorating when he got home later that night, and the rest of the day before Christmas were all a blur with me trying to get the house ready for the holiday. I hosted Christmas Eve at my house with my family, and on Christmas Day, I slept in tired from the night before and woke up with enough time to brush my teeth before we headed out to his daughter's, then drive to spend the day at his mother's house. I fell asleep on the drive and woke up after his daughter was picked up, and we were already en route to his mom's. I turned around to greet his daughter, and that's when I saw her rummaging and holding my new purse.
Oh, no.
Where'd you get that purse? I asked her, and the car felt completely silent. I look at my husband, and he stayed quiet with both hands on the wheel, looking straight ahead. I asked her again, this time in a louder, more stern tone, and she looked down and quietly mumbled, "My dad gave it to me." "You what?" I screamed. "How could you think it was okay to give her my new purse?" He told me to calm down, and I cut him off and screamed, "No!" and then turned back to his daughter and told her that her father had no right to give her my purse and that she needed to give it back, to which she refused. I could feel my anger raging, then subsiding a feeling of sadness and complete defeat. I put my coat over my head and leaned against the window, trying to cover my face and mouth as tears started running down my cheeks. My husband pulled over at the next gas station, and his daughter bolted out, taking the purse with her. He tried to comfort me, which I slapped his hand away and told him not to touch me and gave him a look of disgust. He informed me that after he dropped off me that day, he picked up his daughter and took her shopping, and on the way taking her home, she noticed the bag and saw the purse. She begged and pleaded with him to please let her have it. She reminded him about all the times he never got her a gift and how giving her this purse would make up for it, and that played on his heart, and he finally caved in and gave her my purse.
Wow, what an entitled, spoiled little brat.
He tried to say he was going to make it up to me, and I asked him how, knowing it was impossible. He already spent his money and made it clear that he wasn't going to have any money to buy me anything else. I couldn't help but get upset as I tried to get him to understand how hurt I felt. Now, it's not like he was suffering with getting her to open presents from her mother and stepfather, plus gifts from their family, along with the gifts she was getting to get from his family. He already spent money on her for Christmas presents, and that was my one gift. I know Christmas is not about getting presents, but I was extremely upset that my husband could be so thoughtless and not consider the amount of pain he was going to cause me. His phone rang, and it was his daughter calling for the inside, asking him to come inside as she needed money to buy something. Alana, as he was walking to the store, I looked back and tears began to fill my eyes. I saw all the gifts I picked out for his family with care. Something came over me, and I stopped crying, and I got out of the car in the driver's seat and wiped my face, peeled out the gas station parking lot, leaving my husband and stepdaughter behind. You just left them. She's like, "I'm going home."
She's like, sell the bag. Buy yourself an Uber home.
There we go. There we go. Yeah, you can get yourself an Uber home.
Wow. Yeah, that is still frustrating that the daughter is still like, "Dad, can you come buy me something?" When she ran into like the gas station, it's like, first of all, her just running away from that is like crazy. And then still after all that, asking to just get more. He's absolutely spoiling her.
I turned my phone off and drove back to town and spent the day with my family at my cousin's house and stayed with them, not returning any of my husband's phone calls and not returning home until late the following day. The only phone call I did return was one from my stepdaughter's mother to set her straight after she left a hateful message about leaving her daughter stranded because I was jealous her father bought her a new purse. I told her she had been told a lie and informed her of the truth. That, in fact, her father did not buy her a new purse. He bought me a new purse. And she played on father's emotions after he had already bought her expensive items for her from her Christmas list to guilt him into giving her my new purse. She apologized and tried to come up with a solution, to which I replied for her not to bother. The damage has already been done. And we will not damage you unless you check us out on your favorite podcast platforms. Just search up OK Storytime and you get a plethora of stories just like this. It was a threat, not a warning whatsoever. I mean, it makes sense you're upset,
Yeah, I don't think abandoning them was the right way to deal with that.
but I wouldn't want to spend my holiday with this guy that just will give anything to his daughter, has no backbone. I'm not about to spend all day doing that. Imagine getting something finally and then it automatically getting away from you.
Yeah, because I guess she could complain and being like, well, I spent all this money on you and your family picking out very thoughtful gifts. This was one thing that you were getting me that is probably equal price to like what she spent on everything. Maybe actually. Purses can be expensive. Yeah, like I could see it justifying it like that. And then the fact that this little kid, he is absolutely spoiling that little kid. Oh my goodness. Like, no, after all that, after that whole discussion, I'm not going to buy you something from the gas station. You're not going to run away out of this car where I don't know where you're going, you know? But I definitely don't think OP should have driven off. What do you think about that?
No, I think she's fine. That was just a warning. That was just like a little bit of it. I found out through my sister-in-law that my husband's brother went to get them, and the story came out later that evening. His mother on his side, while his brother and sister-in-law and other aunts and uncles sided with me and got onto his daughter. Oh, wow. That's awesome. I have not spoken to his daughter since Christmas, and things are unsettling at home. I have become more distant from my husband, and when I make dinner, I don't serve him a plate. I serve only my son and myself, and I only engage in conversation with my son. He's tried to reach for me at night when we are in bed, but I always end up crying. I'm not angry or mad, just feel nothingless. He's back on the road, and I do miss him, but I can't shake the feeling of how he let me down, and I cannot hide the looks of disappointment, looking to see what others have to say about the situation. I think he just needs to buy you something else that's nice. He just needs to do a grand gesture of kindness towards you, and I think this all will be solved.
I think that grand gesture would be to actually like parent his child.
Yeah, parent his child, but like also getting something for you or like doing a nice thing for you. Like if he went out of his way, you guys had a nice weekend together, focused just on you and got you something nice on that weekend. I think that's all she wants. She just wants attention in that way.
My spoiled stepsister threw a tantrum because I'm the maid of honor.
No, I want to be the maid of honor.
My female 26 older sister, female 28, has made me maid of honor for her wedding, and half-sister, female 21, is throwing a fit. By the way, this comes from Swearing Bridesmaid on the OK Storytime subreddit. So for background, my sister Laura and I were raised by my mom without a dad for the first 5-ish years of my life. It was just the three of us until my mom met my stepdad. They got married and had our little sister Carrie not long after. My stepdad is an awesome guy. Before he came along, Laura, Mom, and I lived in a tiny apartment with nothing much but secondhand items and each other.
Aww.
But we were happy because we had a roof over our head and food on the table.
Aww.
My stepdad has an excellent job, so once they married and had Carrie, we moved into a nice big house, a mansion compared to our apartment, and started getting nice gifts at Christmas time and birthdays. This is what Carrie grew up with, and whereas we grew up with a lot of it too, I don't think it affected us as bad because we remember what it's like to be frugal and to not have much.
This reminds me of Keon producing versus me producing.
Oh,
Back in
yeah.
my day,
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
nothing.
I was like, what are you saying about
all
me?
the buttons. We didn't have a lot of buttons, and we had to do
Yeah,
things.
We just had to do
from
it all
scratch.
manual. I remember those days.
Oh man, we had to scroll
I
the
don't.
Notion
Yeah.
by hand.
The scrolling,
oh my
man.
gosh.
I appreciate you, Riley.
You're welcome.
My mom to this day is still very frugal, and we love to go thrifting or make our own items like we used to anyways. So Laura and I are very separate from Carrie in that regard. Carrie's always been spoiled, but not in a throw a tantrum and ask daddy for a new car way, but she'll ask for a $500 birthday cake and get it. Buy name brand things only, and if she can't have something for whatever reason, she'll pout for 3 days and be moody.
That does give off the vibes of cry to
Daddy, I want
daddy.
a new car.
Yeah, that is
Daddy,
that
I
vibe.
want a new car.
Daddy, chill.
So surprise, surprise, she still lives with mom and dad and doesn't have a job on her own, and they seem to be fine with it, but whatever. Okay, the only thing I'll give her, I mean, she should have a job, but she's 21.
Mhm.
That's not like an abnormal age to live with your parents. That's kind of
No,
around the normal age to be living with your parents.
that is true. I think once you hit 30-year-olds, if you're still living with your parents, unless you're taking care
Unless
of
you're
them,
taking care of your parents.
that's
yeah.
different.
Anyways, Laura's boyfriend of 6 years proposed last year, and we were all thrilled. He's a great guy, and we all love him. Back when she first got engaged, she gave me, her friend Charlotte, and Carrie a box of beautiful earrings that said, "Will you be my bridesmaid?" And mine said, "Maid of honor."
Oh.
We were all giddy and started coming up with ideas and discussing colors and cakes and all that fun stuff, but they decided to wait a year to save and to figure out what they wanted.
Okay.
Well, 4 months ago, Laura announced she was pregnant, and as a family, we were all excited. All except Carrie,
Oh,
who
no.
remained quiet and didn't say much about it. Laura then explained that her and Alan decided they wanted to have the wedding in 2 months with about 30 to 40 people so they can really celebrate before the baby. Stepdad offered them $10K so they could have their dream wedding, but due to the circumstances, they asked if they could use most of that money on a house they were looking at instead, and he agreed, which is a great investment.
Oh, wow.
That's the way to do it.
That is the way to do it.
I'd rather spend money on a house than on a
I'd rather
on a
spend money
wedding.
on a honeymoon because I don't think I'll ever afford to buy a house one day
That's true.
in this market.
That's true. Well, actually, I want to live in a compound with all my friends and family, so
Oh, I forgot we wrote that up.
yeah.
We could 3D print the house and stuff.
house.
Have you seen those 3D
have.
printing houses things?
I have. Yeah, we'll do that. So it's fine if we all
We can
chip
afford
in,
it!
We could totally afford a house.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So Charlotte, Laura, Mom, and I have been frantically planning things, and it's been a lot of fun, except for the fact that Carrie hasn't said much about it from the start. And whenever we start wedding plans, she either goes on her phone or will not pay much attention. Finally, Laura had a talk and asked her for more input and to participate more, and Carrie agreed. When we were on our way to the dollar store to pick up some wedding decorations, Carrie scoffed and said, "Dollar store decorations? That's so tacky." You're tacky. But
I like
we-
how you do things with your eyes. Like your eyes speak a lot of words.
Oh, thank you.
That's true.
The fluttering, what you just did there, I don't think you even
I
noticed.
don't.
Yeah, it's crazy what you do with your eyes.
That's
It's kind
my
of wild.
eyes.
They're-
They're just very big.
they're their
They
own
can give a lot
character.
of.
They really are.
But we ignored her and did our thing. When we asked if she would help us make handmade invitations, she complained again and said, "It'll look like a bunch of preschoolers made it," and just stomped away. Finally, just recently, we were all dress shopping, and Laura told us we can pick whatever dress we want as long as it's blue, because she wants it to be simple, and we would be paying for it ourselves.
I
and
see
then
you.
they can all be her something blue.
I see you. Guess who's about to wear white?
Carrie. So Mom, Charlotte, and I went into H&M and found beautiful blue summer maxi dresses, different styles. Mom had lace, mine is a floral cotton, and Laura thought they were perfect. Except Carrie, of course, and she wanted to buy the $2K bridesmaid designer gown she found online. My mom told her that was ridiculous. Laura's gown didn't even cost that much. So Carrie, of course, pouted and whined. So my mom gave in, and we all went to this fancy bridal shop.
Oh my.
Mom, why are you letting her do this?
Shh. Emotional manipulation.
And you let her get away with it.
Dude, I just feel bad for whoever Carrie ends up with
Yeah.
because she's been taught her whole life
That
she can get whatever she wants if she pouts. So she better be getting some men.
Better be with a
Some
rich person.
Yeah, I see an older man with multi-millions of dollars.
Mhm,
What this
90-year-old
working out.
man with a lot of cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know all about that.
We do. Carrie right away found a pink blush gown. It's not blue. that she had to wear, but it was $1K. Mom said a firm no. Plus, it's not even blue like the other bridesmaids.
Yep, I knew it.
My sister then said blue is the stupidest color for a bridesmaid dress because we don't even live near the ocean.
What?
What? There's so many other things that are blue.
You live under the sky. That's
Boom.
blue.
1. Lakes.
Lakes, blue.
Ponds.
You probably drank some water today.
Ooh. That's
Clear.
all I can think of that is blue.
You're looking
Eh.
very blue today too,
Thank
Riley.
you.
That's true. Little
Look at those
blueberry.
eyes.
You look
Look
like a
at
little
those
blueberry.
eyes.
Dude, I am. Dakota's not here, so I have to look like a blueberry for
That's
him.
true. Anyways, we all left and she had her little pout and Mom lectured her and told her this is a frugal wedding. It's in our backyard, barbecue with only 30 to 40 people. And so she doesn't need a 2K designer dress of any kind.
But this is her wedding that she's in.
Yeah, she's like, I'm a bridesmaid for this wedding and therefore it's all about me.
This wedding means so much to me because I'm in it.
Fast forward to a few days later, and Carrie says she found a dress to wear that she already had in her closet. Plus, it was blue. So we thought it was terrific. But when we went over to Mom and Dad's, Carrie strutted out in her old prom dress from high school, which is basically a puffy ball gown, but dazzled with jewels. And as anyone does after high school, she grew out of it, so her were spilling out, and it was overall not very flattering.
Oh boy.
On top of all that, she was wearing a tiara full of sparkling jewels that she claimed she bought just for the wedding. So now she's the princess of the wedding?
Ooh. Oh no. I don't like
Mom
this.
and Laura were silent, and finally I felt I had had enough. So I snapped and told her that she couldn't possibly be serious. Wearing a dress fancier than the bride is one thing. Having your boobies spill out is another. But also wearing a crown on top of that? Who does she think she is?
This is her wedding.
The lord of the wedding? No.
This is the wedding that she's in. This
She's
is her
in
wedding.
this wedding, therefore it is hers.
Exactly. Thank you. You're now getting it.
I get it. Carrie crossed, I'm in this room, so therefore OK Storytime is mine.
Whoa.
Carrie crossed her arms and said, I'm the maid of honor. Of course I'm going to wear a crown.
Oh.
There's been a little miscommunication.
Oh. So she just assumed.
She just co-opted, it seems.
Ooh. Or was she gonna like the day of steal the position?
Yeah.
Like in the
Little
office?
switcheroo. She was going to tie OP up and put her in the closet and
And be like,
become the maid of honor.
I'm the maid of honor. Or if you just like if Keon just sits in my seat and says I'm the producer
I am the producer now.
And
I'm
I-
the producer now.
and I can't sit in the seat and produce, then I am no longer the producer.
It's
I
true.
am the Riley now.
I
Yeah.
am the Riley now.
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Mm.
This is when we all get silent until Laura speaks up and said, maid of honor? I made Amy maid of honor. You and Charlotte are the bridesmaids. Lay down the law. Well, this triggered Carrie, and she began screeching, what do you mean I'm not maid of honor? You told me I was. When? When you gave us those presents, I got earrings because I'm maid of honor.
Huh?
Now, I don't know if for this past year, Carrie really truly thought she was maid of honor and got the title bridesmaid mixed up, or if she was in denial, or just simply didn't pay any attention to detail, because I've been maid of honor this entire time, and she hasn't said anything about it until then. But this caused her to have the worst meltdown I think I've ever witnessed in my life. She's about to go Chernobyl on this.
Good one.
I truly thought people only acted like this in movies or storybooks. Whenever a Redditor would post about a bridezilla or a wedding meltdown, I always thought this must be exaggerated. But this has been the worst meltdown ever in our family. Carrie began screaming, crying. She ripped off her crown and stomped around until Dad came down to see what the fuss was about. Through her blubbering, she told Laura her wedding was all wrong. She said she should be using that $10K for a nice wedding instead of that ugly brick house her and Alan wanted, because that's what the money was meant for. She also said it was the stupidest idea ever that my sister would want to get married while pregnant because you look like a fat swan in your wedding dress.
Ooh.
Oh no.
I hate this. I hate this person.
All right, poll, kick out or nah?
Arrest.
Oh, arrest or nah?
Arrest her.
All right, arrest or
Arrest.
nah?
Honeybee says, I think Carrie needs a dose of reality.
Facts.
Big old dose. She needs a double dose.
The sad thing though, she needed that dose years
ago. Years ago. Yeah,
it's too late.
She's missed all of her appointments, all of her shots of reality. Again, she rambled on to something about how blue is a dumb color because we don't live near an ocean. What a strange point. I think at this point, she's just pulling stuff out of her butt. Dad tried to calm her down, and she finally screams that if she can't be maid of honor, then no one can, and she won't go to the wedding. Because if she doesn't go to the wedding, it doesn't exist.
Ooh.
That's baby
good.
logic for you. She's like, no one can be the maid of honor if I'm not at the wedding, because the wedding cannot go on without me.
So there's no wedding.
At this point, Laura is a mess and is crying her heart out, and I'm ready to smack that little witch so hard that the crown stays off her head permanently. But before I can say anything, Laura says, fine, you can be maid of honor, you win. Laura,
no, you can't give in.
Laura, no!
You have to be
Stand
a wall.
your ground. Who cares if she doesn't come?
Wait, what's a sturdy wall?
A sturdy wall?
You have to be the wall of China here.
The Great Wall of China. Don't let anybody in.
You can't. Why?
Keep 'em
No, because if you do this, she'll just get anything she'll ever want in life.
It's true.
Oh.
If you do this, what's a place that got overrun a lot? I don't know.
Never mind.
Don't say it.
Worry.
Don't say it.
Ooh. Kingdom of Heaven. The wall of Jerusalem came down in the 1200s.
Yeah, but they were playing all those trumpets.
No. That's a different one. No, 1200s. 1200 AD.
Oh.
In. I just watched the Kingdom of Heaven movie. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, you guys put in the comments what wall falls down.
what
We all
place got
fall
overrun?
down.
Yeah.
I can only think of Poland. But there was no wall there. It was just kind of overrun a lot.
The Berlin Wall. I don't
Anyways, Berlin Wall. There we go.
we're thinking about
There we
walls
go.
falling down.
Humpty Dumpty on a wall, but that was a cannon. Okay. Anyway.
And just like that, Carrie stopped crying, and she gave a small smile before going up to her room. She's playing you all, and you're falling into her trap. Mom and Dad start arguing. Dad says there's nothing you can do to control a 20-year-old behavior. That's false. And
That's
Laura
so
had gone to
obnoxious.
the next room to call Alan about potentially canceling the wedding. Girl,
Whoa.
what? I'm so angry that I end up storming into Carrie's room to see that she's on her laptop ordering that stupid pink 2K dress. I was so dumbfounded at her that I couldn't even face her. I left and didn't say a word. Downstairs, Laura is crying to her fiance, and the parents are yelling all the while Carrie is happily in her room buying stupid crap because she got her way. I don't think I've ever been this angry. I wish Laura had more of a backbone. I would have told Carrie to not bother coming if she was going to act like that. I don't even know what to do now. I'm also hurt that Laura gave the title to her just like that because she screamed for it. I don't know what to say or do to anyone. What should I do? And quick edit, we live on a farm, so we have approximately 6 acres of open space where we're holding the wedding. It's a lot of space.
That's average.
Okay,
To hold the wedding.
Riley.
Oh, just
No,
living
yeah.
on 6 acres.
No, I mean, like, for a farm it makes sense, but like to hold a wedding, that's a lot of space to do it.
I mean, you're not going to use the whole space.
They're going to use that whole space.
No,
They're
they
gonna
probably have a
frolic.
barn,
They're
and they're
gonna
probably
frolic.
well. Okay, they must have horses that are going to frolic around.
Yeah.
They're not going to use.
Is this your dream wedding now, Sophia?
I'm frolicking. The cooks who are preparing the hot dogs and hamburgers will be wearing masks. The guests are all required to wear masks. And we have hand sanitizer bottles at every table. Sorry, I'd forgotten to include that. Personally, I wouldn't want to risk it too much, but I'll be wearing a mask and hand sanitizing constantly so I don't have to miss my sister's wedding and pray that everything turns out fine. We also have a little tap at the side of our house we use as a sink all the time that's available to guests. I forget that a lot of people right now probably aren't taking any precautions at all, so I wanted to mention we are, if at least a little.
Oh, they're talking about the virus at the
this
time.
is
Got
this is prime.
Don't say the
COVID.
word.
Okay.
Can't,
Why?
because then YouTube will flag it.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
Because we might be saying conspiracy theories about it, dude.
Okay.
It's,
The internet sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. There's so many
I
things
did
we
not know
can't
that.
say. But can you scroll up on the comments?
And there is an update.
Yes.
We got really good. Stella Hirschman 24 says, Laura must think that since Carrie is the favorite, not inviting her would cause more drama. So that's
Maybe,
probably
but
why.
like she's causing so much already. So what's the loss? in
Yeah.
not inviting her.
I don't know, dude. It's There has to come a time where someone puts their foot
Someone's
down.
gotta put their foot down.
Yeah.
Or she'll just keep getting her way.
She has for 21
It's disgusting.
years.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I'm just I don't know why Laura feels obliged is that the right word?
Yeah, obliged.
Yeah, to do this.
Yeah, I just think it's silly because not only are the parents letting Laura get away with things, but so is letting Carrie get away with things, but so is Laura. And it seems like Amy, which is OP, I believe, is the only person who is actually like seeing Carrie for who she is.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And Dread 4 says, send this sister to the sun so she can learn what the earth really revolves around.
Ooh!
There we go.
Ooh!
Everyone in the comments tell us where we should send this sister.
That was a freaking good one.
That was a bar.
That was that TikTok audio from Dance Moms. Ooh, that's really bratty. That's what just went. Jared, I love that.
We know where Sophia has been all break.
Yes.
TikTok.
Also, 100% of you agree that we should arrest her.
Arrest her.
Yeah, dude.
Arrest
Put her in jail.
her.
Arrest
my
her.
gosh.
But let's get into this update. Just wanted to post an update on what happened this afternoon. When I made that post, it was already 3 days past the Carrie meltdown, so I gave it a lot of time and thought and soaked in everyone's piece of advice on here. Alan, Laura's fiance, had actually called me early this morning and asked if I'd be able to go over to see Laura because he's fed up with Carrie's BS and we need to act fast.
All right. I like
Nice,
this
Alan.
from Alan.
I was relieved to hear I wasn't the only one fed up besides those on Reddit, so I went over straight away. Laura was on the couch in her PJs, hair unwashed, and it looked like she had been crying the last few days. Oh. The image absolutely broke me, and immediately she apologized to me and said she didn't know what to do now. Alan said he had thought the three of us should all sit down with her and have an intervention. But Laura shut that down right away and said she doesn't think she could handle any more yelling. I agree that being yelled at is the last thing Laura needs, and it should just be me and Alan. But Laura was nervous about that too. She didn't want Carrie to feel like she was being bombarded. She should feel like she was being bombarded.
Here we go. Do we want her not to feel bombarded?
Yeah.
Have stepdaddy buy her a nice little treat
She
and
get
put
little
the
ice
treat
cream.
in the middle of the room,
Yeah.
and then everyone actually bombards her. That scared me. I thought that was a fly. The little hat on Sophia's mic ran away. That's what we got to do here. We have to bombard her.
Bombard her.
But give her, she seems to like retail therapy a lot, so I don't know if you want to help her out.
Yeah, give her a little like
Amazon
hat.
gift card.
I don't know, and then bombard her.
Yeah.
So finally, after a few back and forths, Laura decided that she wanted me alone to talk to Carrie without mom and dad. And her and SO together made a list of things that I need to address with her so that way things don't steer off topic. Such as how it's unacceptable to yell at a pregnant woman no matter the circumstances. How disrespectful she was to criticize anything with the wedding and the name calling. And of course, the most important part about her crying in order to be a maid of honor. The thing I worry about is that Carrie's going to be like, well, you're not the wedding. It's not your wedding. Why are you talking to me about this?
There's no one of authority
Yeah.
talking to Carrie.
Yeah.
If a sibling came up to me and said these things, I'd be like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
If my dad came up to me, my mom came up to me, I think having a mom or dad would be
That's the
good.
thing. I think one of the parents
The dad.
or one of the wedding people should be
Yeah.
involved. I understand why Laura doesn't want to be yelled at, but I think Alan should maybe be involved.
Maybe not the dad because he's a stepdad, and like
No,
Carrie
it's
did
her.
grow
It's
up.
her. Carrie. That is Carrie's dad.
Really?
So
I thought it was.
It's a half
he's-
sister.
yeah, Carrie is the half sister. So
got it.
that's
Okay.
her dad.
Understandable.
third
Because
stepdad.
Laura and OP grew up together, and then they had Carrie later.
I think
Got
it
it.
would have. Well, it's daddy's princess, but daddy needs to set reality. for a
Daddy
princess.
needs to set reality.
Bring the parents in. You have to.
I also decided to bring up with Laura about the fact that Charlotte and I, the other bridesmaid, were planning to have a fun bachelorette slumber party in a few days to help Laura celebrate. Laura's face lit up and she seemed excited. I told her it was supposed to be a surprise and Carrie was supposed to come, but given the circumstances and the fact that it's at my flat, I don't want her there anymore, and I wanted to see if Laura was fine with that. She said she was, and that she'd much rather have her other friend over instead in place of her. I told her that was completely fine, and after some more talking, I made my way to mom and dad's to see Carrie. As soon as I walked in, my mom asked me what I was doing there. I told her I needed to speak to Carrie. Mom looked around and in a hushed voice told me it's best I leave because the last 3 days after things were resolved, Carrie has been perfectly happy and no one in this family needs any more drama. You can't keep tiptoeing around your 21-year-old daughter. You have to stand up to her. You coward.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I told Mom I was sorry, but things in fact were not resolved. They were far from resolved. That's when Carrie walked into the kitchen and asked what I was doing there. Mom tried to brush it off, said, "Nothing. Amy was just coming to get something, but she's on her way out now."
Ooh, clap back, Amy.
But I told her, "No. Actually, that's a lie. I'm here to talk to you about what happened the other day alone." About to get
Opie's doing
fire
no
with-
business. Dude, I'm fired up right now.
Carrie didn't seem pleased, and Mom's face was as red as a tomato, but Carrie and I proceeded to go into her bedroom to talk. I firstly told her how completely unacceptable it was for her to raise her voice and scream at a pregnant woman because of how harmful it was for the baby. Immediately, Carrie scoffed and said, "No, it isn't. Don't make up lies to make me feel guilty." I told her, "What lies?" She said, "The baby's not going to be affected just because I raise my voice. It doesn't even know what's going on. You're just making stuff up." This girl, I swear. I decided it's no use arguing with stupid, so I told her, pregnant or not, this was Laura's wedding, not hers. And all of the name-calling she did and harsh criticism of the decorations was completely childish and unacceptable. I then brought up the fact how her throwing that tantrum to get her way was the most childish thing I've ever seen in my life, and that if things were reversed and I made Laura take away Carrie's maid of honor job, she, Carrie, would have lost her mind. So how was it in any ways all right for her to do it to me?
Boom. Eat that.
Eat that.
Carrie.
Put that in your plate and eat it.
Yeah.
In response to that, she told me I'm acting so pathetic and that I reek of jealousy. She then said, "There's no real problem here. You're just jealous. Laura decided she wanted me after all." Girl, you bullied her into it.
This girl sucks.
You bullied her into it.
Dude, the worst part about this is that she's so narcissistic and so stupid that there is zero reasoning that will ever happen
That's
here.
the thing. Yeah, you can't talk to her because she's stupid. She's an idiot.
Yeah, it's...
She's a spoiled idiot.
Do we just, like, say everything and just be
Yeah.
like, okay, she knows now? But
She
she's not
knows
going to
now.
change.
And then you cut her off or you go live in
Yeah.
new contact.
Yeah,
I
at this
guess.
point, there's gonna be drama nonetheless. If she does come, if she doesn't come, there's gonna be drama nonetheless. I would not have her go. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care about the drama. It's just like, let's have a fun time without the brat.
We out, but that's
I
going to
think
affect
so.
the stepdad and the mom.
And they should be out too.
If they reason with her, you got to be like, this is not your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I told her this was false. She wanted me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have asked, but agreed to make Carrie maid of honor to stop the fighting. Carrie then very smugly said there was nothing I could do about it now, so I better get over it. That's when I told her she was no longer welcome to the sleepover we had planned and that Laura also did not want her to come.
Ooh.
But now she's going to go bother Laura. Until Carrie decided to apologize to both me, Laura, and our parents for her outrageous behavior, she was no longer welcome in my and my fiance's home. Suddenly, Mom burst through the door, I'm assuming she was listening in, and went completely ape. She told me I had no right to ban Carrie from the sleepover and from my house, and that the only reason I was doing it was to get back at her. She told me I was stirring up unnecessary drama and that at least Carrie didn't mean to hurt my feelings on the other day. Whereas right now, I'm doing it on purpose. This is where Carrie begins to cry and moan about how I'm bullying her and I'm not being fair. And this is her MO. This is her MO. She's not getting her way, so now she's going to pitch a fit.
Yeah, it's the stomp your feet, get your way kind of thing, and it's rinse, repeat, recycle. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Where is this mom getting this from? I mean, okay, the apples is far from the tree,
Yeah.
I think. But this doesn't make sense in my head because the mom grew up as a single mother for so many years.
Yeah.
But you think money corrupted her? She also got a little spoiled, and that's why
Maybe,
she's
or maybe,
this way?
You know, sometimes it goes into like this, you have this new kid and you want to provide for the new kid and you want
Yeah.
everything to be perfect for them.
Avery says mom is willfully enabling the victim mentality. Wow.
Very true.
I mean,
My-
the dad already did that too. He was just
Yeah,
like,
they're both doing it.
yeah.
My mom then goes over to Carrie and starts rubbing her back and says, I know, honey, she's being very rude to you right now. You didn't start anything. Gag. This mom sucks. That's when I noticed stepdad standing at the door, and I said to him, do you not see all of this? Did she at least tell you she bought that pink 2K dress?
Please divorce. Please
Dad
divorce.
looked awkwardly between my mom, sister, and me before saying, I think everyone is stressed out, and no one means what they say. Sisters fight. And I know by the end of the wedding, you'll all be the best of friends again. But they were never the best of friends, and you need to wake up. At this point, I really, really had enough. I told everyone I was leaving, and Mom got up and said that discussion wasn't over. I told her actually it was over. And unless Carrie apologizes to me and Laura, I will not be speaking to her. On my way out, I heard Carrie say there was nothing she needed to apologize for, but I kept walking. To say that I was hurt and angry is an understatement, and with how my head was pounding, I just wanted some Advil and juice. So I went to the nearest drugstore. Now, this part might have been where I crossed over the line. I'm honestly not so sure. But in my last post, I didn't mention, because I didn't find it relevant, that Carrie is a boyfriend she's been going out with for approximately 6 months.
Someone likes dating that?
Whatever she's about to do.
I'm sorry, dude. That dude probably gets stepped on and likes it.
Gotta be.
But like, that just registered. Whatever they are about to do did not cross the line. This guy should know
Yeah.
how she acts. Oh my
She's pretty
gosh.
terrible. His name is Noah. He's 27, he's a hardcore Christian, and overall a really cool guy. I met him at the city's university about 2 years ago, and we had a lot of the same courses together and became pals. He and Carrie have quite a bit in common. They both love animals. He fosters animals all the time, and Carrie at that point was debating on studying to be a vet. So at the beginning of January, Noah moved back to our part of the city where he got a job as a pharmacist. And that's when he and Carrie started going out, which we were all cool with because he's really a great person.
Oh, dude, he's so much better than.
I feel like she's gonna like Carrie cheated on him or something.
Oh,
That's what I feel. I think.
No, I don't know if she'd do that. I think she'd just be like, hey, she's being a brat right now.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's gonna do.
Because of his Christian values, he's very excited to get married and have kids ASAP.
Whoa, what?
He said multiple times he hopes to be engaged by the end of the year. Carrie is also his first relationship, which might be another reason why he's so anxious for the commitment. Give it a second, dude.
Yeah,
Give it a
but
second.
yeah, that's sort of the Christian male arc.
First relationship.
Yeah,
into
you're like,
marriage.
I gotta marry this person. It's gonna be great.
It's gotta be right.
Have kids. They're all gonna be named after
The Bible.
names in the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's
John, Luke, Matthew.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna be happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be great.
I love that. Like this is a perfect relationship. So again, like I said, he's getting walked on probably.
Yeah, he's getting
and
walked on.
he's like, this is what a relationship is like.
Yeah, that's and then if they do get married, she's gonna be a trad wife. With she's gonna have millions of
she's
Stanley
gonna demand
Cups.
that he buys her everything. and
Yep,
doesn't
she's
help
gonna
at
go
all.
to Chick-fil-A every day, except for on Sunday, and
She's
it's
a good Christian
gonna
woman.
be great.
And he's like, this is perfect. I'm
Like,
so
this is
happy.
life.
And she's gonna start a business making like I don't know, like underwater basket weaving or something. And it's gonna
This sounds
This is
oddly
super
specific, Riley.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Who
Sorry.
do you know?
Sorry,
Anyways,
sorry.
I got some Advil and juice and was surprised to see Noah because I didn't know he worked at this particular pharmacy. So he waved me over and saw the Advil and asked if I was sick. I told him no, just a headache from the wedding stress. He said, oh, Carrie never mentioned any wedding stress. She said things were going terrific. Well,
Yes! Yes!
Are you about to get your comeuppance?
Where's the tea?
don't
I want to
have
spill
tea.
some.
I'm gonna get some tea after this.
Good. You need it.
I do. I had a singular yawn.
Oh no.
This surprised me, but mostly pissed me off, so I asked him if that means she never told him about the situation a few days before. He had no clue. So I made it brief, and I told him the highlights of her name-calling, screaming, and choosing her own dress against my sister's wishes, and how now she's the new maid of honor. This surprised Noah, and he said stuff like, are you sure? I know Carrie. She's always hated yelling. She didn't actually make that big of a scene, did she?
What?
I told him yes. It was all very unfortunately true. Then I told him that if she talks to him to please recommend her to some sort of therapist. He knows quite a few. And I told him perhaps she might even need medicine for bipolar disorder for all I know. I told him I am now out of her life unless she apologized, and if I were him, I would think very carefully before making a commitment to her anytime soon. He stood there and didn't respond, so I left. And when I went home, Alan and my fiance were playing video games, and they asked what happened, so I told them everything. Alan and fiance think I was in the right for everything, including warning Noah.
Okay, poll.
Should we warn Noah? Nah.
Yeah, warn in or
Warn.
nah. I don't know about like recommending therapy or
Yeah, I
bipolar
don't know if we needed to go
disorder.
that. Just because it's like not. Like he's her boyfriend.
I do the nice way. Carrie is yelling at me. She feels this way about the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm just like really stressed out. I would just mention that.
Yeah, not even like really put it on her just so he doesn't get defensive or anything. Just be like, yeah, she like kind of got really upset and was screaming at us a lot. And, you
Mhm.
know, like I'm a little bit worried about her. And just
Yeah.
like really be overly nice.
I
But
would've-
still warn him.
I would have been like, what do you see in her?
Yeah, what do you know?
Like
about
subtle
this
things like,
situation?
why do you like my sister so much?
Ooh, yeah. Slady Tovez says,
Slady
are you
Toves.
Slady Toves? I'm so sorry. Are you warning him or are you telling him the truth
Of what happened?
of what happened?
True.
Mm.
Later on that evening, however, I got countless texts from Carrie and my mother who were furious that I mentioned anything to Noah just to start crap on purpose. I did not respond to any of the messages, and instead I blocked both of their numbers for the time being. As for Noah, Carrie has him wrapped around her little finger completely, so I honestly don't see him doing anything drastic. He sees how she is when she's pouty and how she is when she's spoiled, but I think all of that goes over his head completely. But still, I felt I needed to say something. I wish I could say I feel better and like a new woman, but I don't. I feel hurt and betrayed. It feels like my throat and my chest are clogged, and I honestly don't know if it'll ever clear. At the end of the day, Laura called me and said she really wants me as her maid of honor, but in order to keep the peace, she is choosing Carrie. For now, I will swallow my pride and my pain and support my favorite sister in anything she decides, and I'm going to love my new niece and nephew to bits. Thank you everyone for listening, and if you have any more advice or words of wisdom, I'm all ears. And there is another update.
Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
yo.
We had a good comment. B Hope Arts says she's hiding herself from him and won't be able to keep up the facade after
Yeah.
the wedding. Warn him and walk away. OP did the right thing.
No, she's definitely going to show this like true self in a couple months or a year or something.
Yeah. Hashtag save Noah.
Says
Tony,
Spiliakos.
that is true.
No, it's also really frustrating. I mean, it must be incredibly frustrating as OP to once again have Laura just concede. Be like,
Yeah.
you know what? Oh, it's fine. This is what she wants. I don't want to cross drama. Honeybee85, thank you for the £2. Anyone else think Stephen King hearing Carrie? Yeah, she's going to have a bunch of pigs dropped on her at the wedding. Josephine Madolberquist, thank you for the 27 sec. Keon, so beautiful. Please give us a big smile.
That's so sweet. It's so, like, it's so good to be back.
Dude, we haven't pimped out Keon in a minute.
In a hot minute, in a whole
Wild.
week.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, I got a little stubble here. Sorry, guys.
Little stubble. Whitney, thank you for the $25. Love catching alive. Wish me luck. Might have COVID/flu. Oh, I
Mm.
flew to NYC in 2 days. Pray for a negative.
Ooh.
We'll be praying.
Everyone's getting sick, man. I got sick on Christmas Eve.
She,
No, it wasn't the virus. But it was
she was
something.
telling me about it. She's like, I'm bedridden.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm so
yeah.
tired.
One of my friends called me and he was like, "Hey, like, how are you?" And I was like, I can't talk.
Aww.
Yeah. I was sad.
But you could read your new recipe book.
No, I was like, I couldn't do anything.
Oh, never mind.
I was literally like, I didn't even watch movies that day. Like it was that bad that I couldn't even enjoy being sick. And you're like, you know, eating soup and watching movies. I couldn't even do that.
How many times did you
Have
get
I been
sick this year?
So freaking much because I lost my voice for 2 weeks in January.
Yeah, the first of the year.
The first of the year, I completely lost my voice for 2 weeks.
Sometime in March.
Sometime in March for sure.
May, whenever we got back from Paris.
Was I sick?
I think so.
I must have been sick for a little
Whenever
bit. Yeah.
Sam got back from
New
Sophia,
York.
you're just sick.
Yeah.
she at least 7
Tremendous,
to
yeah,
8
at least
times.
7 to 8 times.
You know how many times I've got sick this
0.
whole
It's
year?
so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
on wood.
My thing is that Riley drinks so much of an energy drink
Oh yeah, dude.
that has vitamin C in it that I think that you've
Yeah.
like
That's
killed
definitely.
anything inside of you.
Yeah, it's like super vitamin C.
Yeah.
Too,
I get like
with all the other stuff
Like
in
you're
there.
you're getting so much other side
Yeah.
effects, but you will never get sick again.
I will never get sick again.
Yeah.
Miss
but there is
Silver
an update.
Tier, thanks for being a member for 8 months.
Woo!
Love being able to catch a live. Work has slowed down and I can be around more again. Yay!
Yay.
Happy to see you all live. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And yes,
Happy New
Stella,
Year.
it is really nice because I ate so much dirt and ladybugs growing up that I will never
Why
be
would you
sick
eat
again.
ladybugs? Why did you eat ladybugs?
I don't know. We were talking about all the things I ate when I was 5, and that was one of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But there is an update, so let's get into it.
Yeah, look at that poll though.
Oh,
Someone said don't tell the
98%
boyfriend. Who
born.
Who said not to
Who
tell the
said
boyfriend?
They just want to be messy.
You just like chaos. You just like to see people fall.
Hey y'all. So if you haven't seen the previous posts, I'll link them below. First post was here on the group. Second was on my profile because it got removed from here. So here is what I'm thinking is the final update on what happens with my sisters. So it was about 2 weeks. I think it's all been a weird blur since I had that talk with Carrie, and I had since then blocked my mom, dad, and Carrie on everything, just hoping things may settle on their own. Well, it didn't exactly settle. But here's what happened. About 2 weeks after everything, my fiance and I were just chilling late one evening watching TV. It was about 2 a.m. when my fiance gets a phone call from Carrie. Oh my God, she's threatening him. She's like, "Hello, it's not Carrie, but I'm threatening you. Watch your back." He had never blocked her number or mom, so at first we just left it, not wanting to deal with whatever Carrie was wanting to talk about at 2 a.m. But then, right after we ignored the first call, she called a second time and left a voice message telling my fiance to pick up the phone ASAP because there's an emergency. Right away, he called back, and all we could understand from Carrie was something was going on with mom, and she didn't know what to do. We hurried over there and were greeted by Carrie, who told us mom was acting hysterical and she didn't know what to do. When I asked where stepdad was, she said that they had gotten into a huge row a few days prior and he was now staying at a hotel somewhere. She led us over to mom's room, and on the way there, I could see the family photos that were hung up in the hallway were either lying on the floor or smashed.
Oh my gosh.
It seems that the tantrums do run in the family.
Ooh.
When we entered the bedroom, however, mom was calming, watching a TV show. She looked over to me and said something along the lines of, "Well, if it isn't my only daughter." Her speech was incredibly slurred, so it was hard to hear, and Carrie told me not to pay any mind to what she was saying because the last hour she's been out of it and saying off things. I thought maybe mom was going to start shouting or something, but instead she continued to watch TV. Is she having a mental breakdown?
Yeah, I think so.
No, this is a normal Tuesday night.
It's just
Sophia.
Tuesday. I asked Carrie if mom was wasted, and she said she wasn't sure, although she knew she had some wine earlier.
So that's yes.
Apparently, mom had been saying weird stuff that just made no sense at all, then started screaming and shouting about broken families being stuck in the picture frames, so that's why there was that mess in the hall. As I was questioning Carrie, my fiance decided to call the emergency line to get mom an ambulance. Honestly, I would take her to the hospital.
Think so?
Yeah, based off this reaction? Yeah, because it seems like nobody knows what to do.
Dang, that would have not crossed my mind.
Really?
And I'm usually the guy that calls 911.
If I started behaving like this, you wouldn't call the hospital?
I
I'd
just
get you ice cream.
Yeah, I would just get you some soup.
If I start screaming and throwing pictures on the wall and slurring speech, you should probably call the
I'm
hospital.
like, no, she's fine.
But don't get me an ambulance.
Yeah,
I
those are
swear, if you're
expensive.
making me pay
They're pricey.
$2,000 for an ambulance, you're a bad friend.
I'm probably just gonna
Drive me to the hospital.
like if you start doing that, I'm probably just gonna leave
What?
and have Sam deal with you.
It's terrible.
But if I'm the only one,
yeah,
I'd
you're
probably
the only one here.
well. Okay, to be honest,
Unbelievable.
if
I would
you were
drive
acting that way and I had to get you a hospital, I have to like tie your arms up so you wouldn't
I'm
hit me
so
while I'm
weak.
driving. While I'm driving,
Actually, I'm pretty strong now.
yeah. If I'm driving and taking you to the hospital,
Oh yeah.
what am I gonna do?
I don't know.
I'll call the
yeah.
firemen. They can deal with you.
Hmm.
They're pretty strong.
It's ridiculous.
That'd be fun for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's the firemen.
Oh, because it's the fireman.
Firemen. Or we could call the West Hollywood
Yeah.
firemen if
Are they
that's
attractive?
not what you like.
Yeah,
I don't
usually
know.
they are.
Okay, we'll find out.
I don't know.
Have you ever been to one of those shows with
The
the,
fireman
poles
show?
and the
No.
firemen?
It's okay.
I thought like girls do that all the time.
What? He asked Carrie if mom was on any medication, and apparently she was on something for anxiety and depression, which I had no idea.
Ooh.
I knew mom had anxiety issues, but I never knew much else. Once fiance got off the phone with an emergency line, Carrie went and grabbed us the bottles of mom's medications to bring to the doctors, while fiance tried to get a hold of my stepdad. I asked Carrie if she contacted our other sister, and she said no, because she didn't want to cause any unnecessary stress for her or for the baby. Oh, so now she
Okay.
gets it. Now she gets
We
it.
get a slight improvement,
What?
maybe. I'm predicting that
What are
she's
you
going to
predicting?
become a better
Yeah,
person.
the mom's going to kind of have a freak out, and she's like, I have to step up.
She's like, I can't become this
Yeah.
for Noah because I don't want
I
to
gotta do
Noah
it for Noah.
because I don't want him to know about this.
True. It's funny.
I saw Kimberly.
hate that. I hate that.
Kimberly finded it.
You
joke
thought
like
you
that
could
earlier.
slide that in there without me
Yeah.
noticing?
Yeah,
You're not sly.
You're not
It
slick.
may be a Monday, but you're not sly. That was
Oh,
disgusting.
She then went on to admit that she knew I was right, wow, the entire time when I told her that stress could affect a pregnancy, but just didn't want to admit it before. I decided now wasn't the time to argue and just kept my mouth shut. Eventually, the paramedics came, and just as they did, mom started screaming in hysterics again, screaming and yelling stuff that I don't even quite remember because it was garbled and didn't make sense. Something about her needing to stay to feed the baby.
Uh-oh,
What is going
tumor?
on?
A
Yeah,
lot of
she's
people
unwell.
in the comments said she might be having a stroke.
That's what I was thinking. This like the
Like-
slurred speech.
And like this is a little bit wild.
We all went to the hospital, and eventually fiance finally got a hold of stepdad, and he arrived much later. Where was stepdad? But the doctor figured with the amount of stress and with her and dad's constant fighting, plus with the mixture of booze and her medication, turns out she had drank quite a bit that night. It was like she just sort of snapped and she became somewhat confused / disoriented. He also figures mom hasn't been taking her medication properly. Physically, mom was perfectly fine, but they're keeping her in for a few days just to keep an eye on her. Due to virus, I haven't been able to visit her or see her until she gets released. But dad was able to go in and verify a few things, but as far as I know, he's not really allowed to stay with her either, and was only able to see her that night she was admitted. As for the actual wedding stuff, while Carrie and I were driving back home, she had told me that Laura had texted her a few days before and told her that I was still going to be maid of honor. The decision was final, and she would not be answering her or our parents' phone calls or texts about the matter. Finally, Laura is standing up for herself. We love it.
Let's go.
Hearing this has led to more fighting between mom, dad, and Carrie, and shouting, and that's when things went mostly downhill. Neither Carrie or my parents have spoken to Laura in a few days since. I was completely taken aback, especially since Laura never told me this herself. I tried getting more information, but Carrie was pretty much silent the entire way back home. She did have a little speech prepared about how she might no longer even consider me her sister again, how betrayed she was by everything. And I just let her talk and didn't have much to say. I was too tired to fight or do anything, and she had nothing else to say about the wedding or mom's breakdown, and I haven't spoken to her since. Currently, I am looking for family therapy for the very near future. I'm not sure what's available since the virus, but I plan on getting in touch with mom's doctor to see if he has any suggestions. I had told Alan when it happened, and I'm hoping he will be able to tell Laura without her stressing out too much. I suggested he keep it vague and to tell her mom was completely fine. This all started because of wedding plans, but I guess we just had our problems from the start, and it escalated. I think you had the problems from the start, and it was just the wedding that gave them a chance to shine. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll do my best to answer. It's all been a bit foggy for me, so I may have left out important details, and there is, I think, a final update.
Ooh, I am predicting they have the wedding.
Yeah.
Carrie comes
Shows
back.
up, and she says, I object!
No. I think
Oh.
Carrie becomes a good person now.
Oh,
Carrie's a good guy.
She turns around.
Because the mother has gone completely AWOL. She's like, I can't be like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going. And she's had a reality check.
Yeah.
I think she's got that reality dose people were telling
I think
us
it's
about.
coming. I think it's coming.
It was a canon event for her maturing.
Mm-hmm.
Update 3. Hey all, many of you have been messaging me for an update. I'm so sorry. It's been a while. I never log into this account. So if you haven't seen the previous posts, I'll link them below. First post was here on the group. Second was on my profile. Laura had the wedding. It was before the second lockdown and out in our family's farm with about maybe 50 people that showed. Carrie wore the dress she chose because Laura caved and then wore the tiara thing she picked out, so she still was a little brat.
Oh my gosh.
Days before the wedding, Carrie made Facebook posts directed at me, just statuses saying stuff like, can't believe my own family would be so toxic and bully me. Stuff like that.
What?
Well,
So
we were wrong.
eventually I blocked her. Good. Honestly, nothing too out there happened during the wedding. Carrie got wasted and tried to sing and dance and make the attention fall on her. Of course, but nothing overly out there. Gave me the cold shoulder big time, and if I would enter the room, she would announce that she can't be around negative energy, then leave, dragging her boyfriend with her.
Aw.
Her boyfriend proposed to her? After all of that, Noah? After all of that, you were like, I'm going to double down.
Okay, Noah, you're the a-hole.
You're the
We
a-hole.
do not propose at weddings unless it's approved by the bride and groom. But we do not propose at other people's
I
weddings.
don't think that he proposed at the wedding. I think it was just like this. Well, let's actually read. Let's make sure.
Yeah, read it. But a-hole. Noah, you know what?
My
You
assumption
deserve
was
it.
that he just like proposed later. Her boyfriend proposed to her and texted me asking if I would please try to make up things with her and help plan the wedding. I don't think he proposed at the wedding.
He didn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he just proposed, but I think he's still the a-hole to himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I told him I was sorry, but I still wanted to be his friend. I just can't have her in my life. He told me he was sorry and hopes we one day reconcile. Haven't spoken to Carrie in months, but Laura is doing good and they still keep in touch. Mom, Mom and my stepdad have been silent and I've just been keeping my distance as well. I don't have any of them on Facebook anymore, but Laura keeps me in the loop. Anyways, not much else has happened. Not a very exciting update, but thanks everyone for the support. And we would love if you support us on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just tap our profile every weekday at 3 p.m. PST.
Just do it. Easy money.
Just tap it. We're
Keon,
probably
can you
live right
check
now.
and see if there's another update?
Well, there's an edit.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe there's another update that happened.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because this happened during the virus time, so
Yeah, so maybe there's more.
we've had some time to cook.
I'll check right now.
On those of you saying, I shouldn't have told Noah I think Carrie is bipolar, you're probably right. I want to say I never meant it in a malicious way. My good friend is bipolar and recently started taking medication. I began noticing similar outbursts and trace between the two of them, and it was my friend who suggested Carrie might be. I brought it up to Noah because I wondered, since he's in the medical field, if he would have any knowledge or be able to convince her to see someone. I am in no way judging anyone who is bipolar. Also, I in no way claim that I'm the victim or 100% innocent in this. Of course, I've had my own arguments with Carrie beforehand and during this, so I know she's not the bad guy here. I usually try to stay out of any outburst her or my mom has had in the past. And that is the end of that story.
I think we got more.
I'm checking right
And
now.
we're checking
Keon
if
is
there's
checking
more.
right now.
But man, oh man, this girl sucks.
Kimberly Fine says Carrie gets dropped off at an Amish community. She's got to go back to square one and beat Darwin like a pilgrim.
She
Oh,
has to beat.
that's her punishment. Yeah. I want to know what happens to the mom though, and
I know.
the stepdad.
I want to know if like the doctors were like, hey, she's fine or whatever. Like, what happened there?
And I think the stepdad, he broke it off.
I think they've been fighting a lot, but I'm a little bit confused because it seems like they've been fighting a lot about this wedding, which implies that there is a lack of agreement
Mm-hmm.
on something here. So I'm wondering if maybe the mom is on Carrie's side and the stepdad is not.
I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
On top of that, who's ponying up all the money?
That's true.
You think he's a
Where's
little
this
sick?
2K coming?
Yeah. Think he's
That
kind of
2K
sick
back.
about it. He's like, man, I don't want to keep paying for all this.
He's like, this is ridiculous.
And he's
Cut
like-
her off.
And she's like, no, but it's my kids. Come
I want the
on.
little pink
There's no real
dress.
update, unfortunately.
No real update?
What OP does is like
Slay.
reply to some of the comments. So one, they had a baby,
Slay.
the sister,
Congrats.
and it was a girl.
Oh.
Slay.
And then OP herself eloped with her fiance,
Slay.
and they're having, I think, a kid too.
Nice.
Makes sense why she would elope back.
But that's
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I found. Like that she's replying to the comments like, oh, what else has happened? She's like, oh, thanks for the support. That's nothing else. Like,
Okay.
Wow.
Well, that's good. OP
Okay.
gets her a happy ending.
I'm still
Yeah.
just double checking if there's anything else.
Okay.
But
Noted.
no
Thank
other
you,
big
Keon,
events.
for your
You're
research.
welcome.
That's big. But
Yeah.
But let me keep
Dang.
looking. No, it's just OP literally
Oh.
just replying to comments of like, yeah, like
Okay.
don't like be too mean and like thanks for the support and like everyone appreciate y'all and standing by and understanding and like yes, my family's weird and sucks, but that's about
Dude,
it.
This
Yeah.
woman would make me want to pull my hair out. I wouldn't even know what to do with the siblings.
Neither would I. I'd be like, how do I even talk to you? You're
Yeah.
just exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Man, but that is the end of that story. Stella Hirschman 24 says, yeah, bipolar and borderline personality share symptoms, but this definitely leans towards BPD. Kimberly Fine says, put her on the Oregon Trail. Yeah, let her get some dysentery. Classic. Honeybee85 says, Mom and Carrie are both manipulative bees. Yeah, they
But-
definitely taught.
Do you think Carrie got a little bit of a wake up call?
It doesn't seem like
I
it.
was hopeful.
It
I
seems-
thought I
yeah,
saw
it seems
something.
like she's realized that you can stress out pregnant women, and that's it. That is the only thing that she's
Well,
realized.
she called for her mom to be checked up on too.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
wish-
she doesn't. She's not heartless.
I wish we had
Yeah.
more of like the wedding. Like, this was
Yeah.
like
She got drunk at the wedding, and that's all we know.
I just want to know what happened at the wedding. Yeah,
I-
like she made it all about me, but like what?
Yeah,
I
what
I
did
think
wanted
the
that
wedding turned out
tea.
fine.
it seems so.
It seemed like
I
the
wanna
wedding
know
turned out
what she's what she's
okay.
saying.
Yeah. And if there's no other updates, the stepdad and mom probably worked it out too.
They got to have. Yeah, they would have mentioned. that.
Dang, I don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about stepdad.
I don't know. Like, it was really hard for them to contact him when he was when OP's mom was in the hospital. Suspicious.
He seemed non-confrontational,
Yeah,
and whenever the mom was going cuckoo, he
was just absent.
he just left. He's like, I can't deal
Yeah.
with this.
Suspicious.
But when you got money like that,
I guess you can do whatever you
you
want.
can do it. You can go get a hotel, do whatever you
Yeah.
want, man.
Ugly old bat says, think Carrie will wear her prom dress for her own wedding.
Probably.
Maybe
Yeah.
that pink dress.
Ooh,
It's some-
dude.
She better wear that pink dress more than once, because $2K for a dress is crazy.
Like, based on the time here, I know that Carrie has definitely got married by now, and I want to know how much money the stepdad had
Yeah,
to
did
pony
he
up.
give? Because
for
he was
that.
offering $10K to Laura. I bet Carrie was like, I want $20K.
No,
So-
50. I'm thinking 50.
$50K.
So getting
Easy.
I got
Okay.
a little bit more of details on the wedding, at least.
Okay.
It's just again OP saying like,
Go for it.
I'm okay, I'm feeling great. Laura has always been like that, non-confrontational, but she did stand her ground, like we knew. And in the end, OP was the maid of honor, even though that allowed Carrie to wear her prom dress and tiara. So it seems like she did get to wear that at the wedding.
Gotta wear a little pink dress.
No, she wore her blue dress. She was gonna buy a pink dress.
No, she bought the pink 2K dress.
Oh, I thought she
Yeah,
wore
no,
her
no.
prom dress that
no,
was
she
blue.
was gotta wear a prom dress, and then they were like, "No, that doesn't fit you."
Yeah.
And then
She wore
when
the
they were
dress,
having that
yeah.
whole argument, she went and bought.
She wore the pink dress.
2K
like her
dress.
like her.
Oh,
pink
she bought
tutu.
the pink dress.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But that is the end of that story, and the end of this episode.
So, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you,
And see you tomorrow.